The Gregor site, wilderness. Looking at the solemn atmosphere, I believe it's a matter of time before the two groups will fight against each other. Besides, I don't know anything about the ruin. If one of the groups can enter the ruin successfully, I will secretly follow them. I calmed down my heart after gaining some clarity. Then without looking at the two groups, I used the probe function of the system to look into the details. My eyes gleamed with twinkle after a few minutes. These people are really strong. If not for my current strength, I wouldn't have thought about fighting against them. All of them are elites, there are no trash wizards among them. Each one of them had good magic power. Especially the burly man from the Sword Guild team. This guy is a level 2 Earth Elemental Wizard. His 2 magic spells are exceptionally good. He can easily find what is stored beneath the ground. This Sword Guild possibly wanted him to find the ruin. I have to say that this time the Sword Guild came with full preparation. But what was unexpected was the appearance of the opposite team. There is no badge for them. But anyone can see the news has somehow leaked at the last moment. So in desperation, this opposite adventurer group came at the last moment. Then suddenly my chest tightens a little. I have a foreboding that the confrontation will spread around this entire area. Then it will be difficult to cover my whereabouts. After taking a glance at the adventurer groups, I retreated. A hint of expectation rose in my heart. I have a vague in my heart that there is a huge chance was exist in this ruin. If I can get the chance, I may break into a level 2 wizard. But before that, I need to be patient. The next second, I began to look for a suitable spot to hide. When their confrontation will be over, I will safely follow them. Just as I took a step forward to move from this place. Boom! A terrible sound resonated throughout the entire area. Too late, I grumbled. Without having any choice, I crouched under a nearby tree. Bang! One after another deafening sounds reverberated through the area. Hearing such a fierce clash, I decided to wait for a while. Next, I spread around my sense to safeguard from the other wizards. On the other hand, the two adventure groups started to fight against each other even more fiercely. The Sword Guild's wizards came prepared. They expected someone to interfere at the last moment. Before coming here, the head of the Sword Guild had informed them about their dangers. Because of strict rules, the Sword Guild management can't send higher-level wizards. There are a lot of prying eyes around the city. If the leader of the Sword Guild walks out of the building, he will be immediately noticed by many people. The movement of the level 4 wizard and above is closely monitored by many spies including the government. So to cover the secret, the Sword Guild has no other choice but to send a team of a level 2 wizard with a level 3 wizard as their leader. But still, the eyes of Sword Guild members flicker with a cold glint. Even after their guild's cover-up, the hostile groups still manage to come here. The next second, the fierce clash immediately destroyed the landscape around them. All the lush green vegetation on the grounds was wiped out. Different types of spells are clashing against each other. Especially the fight between the two leaders causing even more damage to the surrounding. So much so that the entire land began to shake. The leader of the Sword Guild team was furious. On one hand, he has to take care of the enemy. And at the same time, he has to be mindful of the surrounding. The team only knows the speculated area of the ruin. So he doesn't want his clash to cause any damage to this land. If the ruin area gets any damage, it will be difficult for him to report back to the head of the Sword Guild. A cold glint flashes into his eyes when he realized the importance of this trip. He decided to kill the opponent quickly. Time passed. Boom boom. The terrific sound continues to resonate with the entire area even after 20 minutes. The ongoing confrontation caused all the monsters residing inside this green land to flee. Under the tree. Looking at the time, I sighed inwardly. The confrontation won't end unless one runs out of mana, I grumbled. But the next second, a wild smile spread on my face. This is a good opportunity for me. I can easily kill them without any effort. Before that, I need to know what happened. If the Sword Guild wins, then it will be good for me. They know the answer to ruin, I can follow them from behind. Then I got up from the ground and slowly moved forward to know the aftermath. The next second, I raised my head to see the aftermath. A pile of corpses spread around the ground. Most of them didn't have full body parts. Severed limbs and hands can be seen clearly. My face turned a bit solemn. It's not because of sympathy. But I saw only 3 wizards remaining unscathed. My gaze fell on their attire. After realizing that the Sword Guild leader is facing 2 wizards from the hostile group, I know that the Sword Guild leader is going to be planted. He was outnumbered. Seeing that he is going to die, I decided to step in. I don't want the secret of ruin to fall into others' hands. Whoosh! When I walked out of the bush, 3 of them were immediately startled. The Sword Guild leader was in relief, but the next second his face became stiff. He found the sudden backer was a mere level 1 wizard. How is this possible? He exclaimed in surprise. Because level 1 wizards only hunt in the outer area. They don't even dare to cross the dividing edge. But this person has not only crossed the dividing edge, he even came here after walking through Deadly Hill Peaks. Is this joke or what? He looked at the newcomer in disbelief. On the other hand, the wizards from the hostile group were stunned as well. They looked at the Sword Guild leader before looking at the newcomer. The atmosphere immediately turned into pin-drop silence. The wizards from the hostile group didn't act. Looking at the fearless face of the newcomer, they thought this person used some disguise spell to hide his level. But this was enough to make their spines chill. On the other hand, facing the myriad of expressions from these 3 wizards, I smiled brightly, but my heart was racing faster. I found the Sword Guild leader's mana reserve has touched rock bottom. He may look alright, but he can't release his spell. He is just putting up an act. I had a good plan in mind. I took a confident side and walked closer towards the hostile wizards. I want to tell you something, I said to the hostile wizards. My sudden words made them stunned. I can't release my gravity spell at close quarters. Otherwise, 3 of them will turn into blood mists. I don't want to see that happen. So I decided to drag the hostile wizards a few meters away from the Sword Guild leader. The hostile wizards looked into each other's eyes. Though this person appeared to be a level 1 wizard. But both know where are they standing right now. This place is off limits for level 3 wizards. If not for the rules, this place would have been already swarmed up by many level 4 wizards. The hostile wizards misunderstood that this person might be some senior. A few seconds later, the hostile wizards agreed to talk. Seeing that, I revealed a bright smile on my face. From beginning to end, I didn't turn towards the Sword Guild leader. This made the other party stunned. Next, I walked along with them towards the opposite side. After covering more than 20 meters, I stopped walking. The hostile wizard also stopped and asked, "Senior, what is it?" He had already confirmed in his mind that this person is senior. Any chances of resistance will result in their death. Looking at them, I asked, "Oh, what is your guild name?" N0V3LB1M was the first platform to present this chapter. As far as I know, no group is supposed to come here apart from the Sword Guild. I added further. The 2 wizards from the hostile groups were even more terrified. The level 3 wizard decides to tell everything. "Senior, we are from different adventure guilds." This time, to confront the Sword Guild members. Many small guilds formed an alliance group to intercept their opportunities, he added further. Hearing their words, a look of understanding dawned upon my face. Then I asked, "Oh, what about other strong guilds?" But both shook their head in denial. The Sword Guild has a level 4 wizard as its head. But it's the same with other strong guilds. I wonder what happened to them. The Gregor site, wilderness. I have a vague feeling that other strong guilds are waiting for some opportunity. Otherwise, they won't let these small guilds come here. So things doesn't seem to be that simple. Then my gaze fell on the faces of these 2 wizards. Gravity field, I said. Puff. When the wisp of gravitational pressure fell on these 2 wizards, they immediately turned into blood mist. The process was over in a matter of seconds. On the other hand, the Sword Guild's wizard widened his eyes in disbelief. Seeing that 2 wizards were completely dead, his senses screamed at him to escape. But he knows if he tries to do something like that, he will die sooner. After taking care of these 2, I walked back to the Sword Guild's wizard. While walking, I looked at the sky. It will be a matter of time before it gets dawns. Looks like I have to stay here at night, I grumbled. When I reached closer, I spotted the terrified face of the Sword Guild's leader. Right now, he is the last man surviving among the adventurer groups. My face revealed a bright smile before asking, "Do you know the location of the ruin?" The Sword Guild's wizard gulped his saliva in fear. All he wants to do now is to escape from this place. So when he heard the words, his first instinct was to spill everything. He doesn't want to face a horrific death like those wizards. "I don't know the exact area," he said. Oh, I raised my eyebrows in surprise. I previously assumed this was the case. If they know, then the outcome will be different. Then I asked the other party to lead me to the area. One good thing though, no one will come to this place at night time. Because at night time, the activities of the monsters will be high in the wilderness. The movements of 4th order monsters can be found. So I made up my mind to use this good opportunity. Then he started to lead me to the location. His cooperation made things simple. On the way, he didn't act suspiciously. After 5 minutes, a small lake came into my view. Seeing that, the Sword Guild's wizard stopped walking and looked at me. We suspect the ruin is below the lake, the Sword Guild's wizard said in a solemn tone. He doesn't know whether this high-rank wizard will let him live or not. So he was terrified right now. I looked at the Sword Guild's wizard before looking at the small lake. My eyes gleamed with a twinkle. I don't know whether to trust him or not. So I asked him whether it was true or not. Then he takes out some sheep scrolls from his storage bracelet and handed them over to me. I opened the sheep scroll to view. Then I saw the map of the wilderness. This map is an age-old map. I don't know which era it belongs to. But one thing is clear, the map is genuine. I saw the area of Venom City also included in the wilderness part. So I got a few points to believe that the location of this site is indeed under the lake. Various thoughts appeared in my mind. Is there any way to open it? If it's located under the lake, then the place might be protected. A quick glint flashed into my eyes. I feel the site might be protected by formations. The next second, I began to inquire about other minute details from him. There is a possibility that he hasn't revealed everything. After talking to him for a couple of minutes, I decided to end his life. Puff. Under the horrific gaze of the Sword Guild's wizard, I used gravitational pressure. The wizard immediately turned into blood mists. The process was over in a blink of an eye. Before checking out this lake, I began to spread my senses around the surrounding area. I don't want anyone to sneak up on me at the last moment. After 5 minutes, I walked closer to the lake. Right now, there is no threat around me, not even monsters. So I decided to check out the bottom of the lake. Splash! The next moment, I dived onto the cold water. Then I gradually began to swim towards the bottom. While swimming, I saw a few aquatic monsters, including first-order and second-order monsters. I have a vague feeling that the aquatic monsters will attack me. A couple of seconds later, I touched the bottom of the lake bed. My gaze was immediately drawn to the mountain rock near me. There is no other mountain rock except this one. My instinct tells me that there is something special about the mountain rock. Then I wasted no time checking out. The mountain rock is half the size of mine. System, probe the target detail, I said to the system. Ding! The host command is recognized. Ding! The command is executed. Result, a gateway to the secret place. Ding! The gateway is intact. It can be accessed by the host. Ding! The host can follow the specific instructions to open the gateway. A wide status panel appeared in front of my eyes. My gaze immediately fell on the instructions. A wave of ecstasy washed over my heart. This is the first time I had used the probe function on something like this. Then I began to follow the set of instructions given by the system. I used my mental power to draw specific patterns. It's different from runic inscriptions. These specific patterns were like signatures. Don't tell me it's some kind of ancient wizardry language. But right now, I don't have time to dwell on this matter, because I feel I'm inching closer towards the end. When I finished the last instruction, I retreated backwards a little bit. Boom! A deafening sound resonated under the lake. I decided to use a gravity spell to offset the power. But I got sucked by some kind of else spell in the next second. Thud! I immediately appeared inside the room out of nowhere. The whole process happened in a blink of an eye. So much so that it took me a couple of seconds to digest the information. I had never expected the trip to go so smooth. Especially coming across the Gregor site. I did it with some impulse. But thanks to my risk-taking nature, I got finally stomped upon a great chance. Ha ha ha, I laughed out loud in joy. A wave of laughter echoed inside the room. A few seconds later, I recovered myself. I don't know what happened outside. So I decided to squander the opportunity as soon as possible. This chapter was first shared on the NOV3LB1N platform. After gaining some clarity, I looked around the room. It's an empty room. Then my gaze was drawn to the architecture. This room resembled the architecture of the medieval era, but I don't know the exact period. My expression turned a bit solemn, because this room doesn't appear to be run down. Apart from the dust, the place looked completely intact. I decided not to use my magic power here. Who knows what kind of ban there is? Especially after seeing the operational gateway. I feel there is a lot more to see in this place. After exiting the building, I looked at my right and left-hand side. My eyes widened in surprise when I saw the long corridor. Don't tell me this is a mansion? I grumbled. Especially after seeing multiple rooms right next to me. I feel this building is a mansion. The Gregor Mansion. The next second, I thought of a name. My assumption is quite possible. Then I decided to check out the nearby room one by one. Pent Luxurious Hotel. The former headmaster of Little Stargate High School, Mr. Colin Sanders, is patiently waiting for the news. But as time went on, he started to worry. Because from time to time, his subordinates would update him with details. But now it's been more than 2 hours, he had not received any message whatsoever. What's happening? He grumbled to himself. He knows that Brad had no other contacts except the police force. Even that Brad's parents were healers at the local medic organization. So it's easy for the level 3 wizard to kill that kid without leaving any traces behind. After waiting for 5 minutes, there is still no message. Colin couldn't sit back in relaxation anymore. As time went on, he began to worry unnecessarily. So he decided to contact the leader. When he tried to contact him, surprisingly the call was not connected, which made him even more perplexed. What is going on? He said to himself. He knows the home address of Vincent Carey. As far as he knows, that residential area is well developed. So there has no problem with the connection. Strange, he said. Then his eyes gleamed with a twinkle. He also has biodata of the other 4 level 2 wizards. Maybe they can answer his call. Then he tried to contact them one by one. Time passed. This is bad, he got up from the chair. When he couldn't able to contact the rest of the 4 wizards. The Gregor mansion? After searching for an hour, I didn't come across anything special. The bedrooms were empty, including the master bedroom. There is not even a secret compartment behind it. But I didn't get frustrated by the failure. I have a vague feeling in my heart that I have yet to discover the secrets. Then I thought about checking out the library room. I'm sure this huge mansion has a library room in it. A few minutes later, I found the library room after coming downstairs. Fortunately, there the door was not locked. Creak! I pushed the door open. A huge wave of dust spreads around the area. Where was this coming from? The amount of dust startled me. Seeing that, I waited for the dust to settle down. Then I walked into the huge room a few minutes later. Countless numbers of books came into my view. They were racked in rows on multiple bookshelves. Seeing that, I stood like a statue in the same spot. I was awed by these gigantic bookshelves. This library room is nothing less than that of those academies. In curiosity, I walked towards the nearest one. When my fingers touched the book cover, the entire book turned into ashes the next second. Seeing that, a realization dawned upon me. Time is cruel, I grumbled to myself. I guess these books are now unattainable to me. Time has left traces on them. If I touch them, they will turn into dust. Realizing that, I sighed inwardly. Then I raised my head to glance over these bookshelves from left to right. The ordinary books were of no use to me, so I wasn't much affected by the result. But what about magic books and ancient scriptures and maps? A trace of doubt appeared in my heart. The wizard Gregor, I don't know where he stored his magic books. As this realization struck me, I decided to check every book. Time passed. I almost forgot about the actual time. I was so immersed in finding out the secrets that I forgot about the outside world. Whenever I touched these books, they instantly turned into dust. Without minding it, I continued to touch the remaining books one by one. Several hours later, the entire library room looked empty. Looking at the empty racks, I couldn't help but let out a deep sigh. All the books that I had touched were turned into ashes. There is nothing left now. The library room looked empty and shallow. I calmed down my heart before looking for other areas. But suddenly a new idea struck my mind. Earlier, I used the probe function on the mountain rock. Then it turned out to be a gateway to this mansion. So looking at this huge library room, I thought about implementing the same idea. Who knows what is hidden behind this library room? Then I proceed to implement the plan. I started to do it from the left side of the library room. System, probe the target. I said to the system. Ding! The host command is recognized. Ding! The command is executed. Result, normal wooden wall. A wide status panel appeared in front of my eyes. Seeing that, I nodded in understanding. Then I began to repeat the process again and again inside the library room. Time passed. After checking out the entire wall, I came across nothing, which left me dispirited. I had assumed that there will be some surprise. But sadly, there is nothing. Suddenly, my gaze fell to the ground. At the center of the hall, there is a specific pattern drawn. For a moment, I thought it was a design. But the more I looked at it, I felt it was something else. The design pattern looked like multiple layers of runic inscriptions. Then a sudden realization struck my mind. This is not an ordinary pattern. There is something beneath it. Realizing that, I decided to use the probe function. System, probe the target details. I said to the system. Ding! The host command is recognized. Ding! The command is executed. Result, a gateway to the secret compartment is found. Ding! Follow the instructions to open the secret compartment. A wide status panel appeared in front of my eyes. Seeing that, my eyes widened in disbelief. It's real. There is something beneath it, I grumbled. Then I began to follow the set of instructions. I started to draw the secret mysterious pattern using my mental strength. As I began to follow the instructions, changes began to take place in the design pattern. Whoosh! One by one the design pattern lines started to move. The design lines started to adjust themselves. I feel like the whole pattern comes alive. Seeing that, I sucked a cold breath. I felt goosebumps all over my body. Finally, the design lines formed a dark color gate. And the gate materialized a couple of seconds later. Seeing that, I stood like a statue in the same place. After calming down my heart, I began to move. When my fingers touched the door, I felt it was real. In curiosity, I gently pushed the door. Creak! The door opened. The next second, I felt a wave of fresh air wash over me. Before I could realize it, I landed inside a huge bright room. Unlike the previous room, this room has a lighting setup. My eyes widened in surprise. This secret place is neat and clean, unlike the huge mansion. I took some time to look around the surroundings. Then my gaze fell on some odd-looking instruments. What is it? I grumbled. The more I looked at it, the more I'm able to recall something. A few seconds later, a look of realization dawned upon me. This is a laboratory, I exclaimed in disbelief. Yet the more I observed this room, it feels like a laboratory. It's exactly opposite to the modern-day laboratory. There were no high-tech gadgets in this room. This chapter made its debut appearance via Nouvelle by Ian. I can only see the different types of apparatus on the table. I wonder for what purpose they are using it. In curiosity, I walked up to the table and began to look at the apparatus. After 5 minutes, I retracted my thoughts. Then I began to check the room using the probe function of the system. Because I see there is no exit door. Result: a secret chamber is found. Ding! Follow the instructions to open it. Finally, I saw the result in the status panel. Seeing that, I began to follow the instructions. This time the design pattern was so complex. It took me some time to complete the pattern. Creak! The door opens. Phew! I exhaled in relief. I thought there is no other room. Then retracting my thoughts, I walked into the room. I saw one simple table and desk. But the next second my eyes widened in surprise. There are 2 crystal balls on the table, which immediately drew my attention. Then my eyes gleamed with excitement. My instinct tells me that these 2 crystal balls were some kind of relics. So I decided to use the probe function on the crystal ball. System, probe the target, I said to the system. Ding! The host's voice is recognized. Ding! The command is executed. Result: a super relic is found. Ding! A level-up system version 1.1 can be installed using the super relic. A wide status panel appeared in front of my eyes. My gaze immediately fell on the instructions. For a moment, I stood like a statue. The shock was so great that I don't know what to do. After a few minutes, I calmed down my heart. Great opportunity, I exclaimed in surprise. Then I extended my palm and placed it gently on top of the crystal. Then I slowly released my mental strength. Whiz! My mind went blank in the next second. I felt my consciousness drifting into a large space. But I know in my heart that my gravity system is updating. Outside, the crystal ball is releasing dazzling 5 elemental colors. Then it slowly began to be observed by the body. The system is updated by using the super relic energy. Time passed. 1 hour later, the crystal ball began to crack. A couple of seconds later, it completely turned into dust. Ding! The level-up system, version 1.1 is ready. Ding! A new storage function is added. A host can use it to store living and non-living things. When the familiar sound rang in my mind, my consciousness returned to reality. Then I saw the newly updated status panel. But my gaze immediately fell on the instructions. Seeing that, a wide smile spread on my face. The new updated version of the system is more powerful than I thought. Storage function, I grumbled. Then I saw I can store all kinds of items inside the storage space of the system. Including I can store living things. I sucked cold breath the next moment. I will this space function to store looted items. No one will know anything. Realizing that, a quick glint flashed in their eyes. This storage function came at the right time. Especially at this Gregor mansion. I will plunder every opportunity and store them inside the system's storage. Then my gaze fell on the last crystal ball on the table. The Gregor mansion? I'm not sure what the next crystal ball will reveal. When I pressed my hands against it, Ding. Unknown energy is detected. Ding. The host level is insufficient to absorb the energy. Ding. The host needs to raise his level. In front of my eyes was a large status panel. My eyes widened in disbelief when I saw that. In the same spot, I stood like a statue. This was not something I expected. My current level does not allow me to absorb the energy. Why? In my heart, a glimmer of doubt appeared. After that, I retracted my thoughts and stored the crystal ball in my system's storage. I have a nagging feeling in my heart that after a breakthrough, I'll be able to make use of that crystal ball. Time passed. I discovered nothing else after exploring the secret chamber. I sighed inwardly as I realized this. Then I walked back to the laboratory. For a brief moment, my expression has become solemn, because I now need to find a way out. After interacting with a system, I realized I needed to find another way back to the mansion. Then I drew a similar pattern with help of the system on the ground. I vanished from the scene after drawing the specific design on the ground, only to reappear in the vast library. Phew, I exhaled, relieved. If I can return to the mansion, I will be able to return to the outside world. But there's a problem. I haven't yet searched the entire facility. Time passed. I gradually began to search the entire mansion. From the kitchen to the butler's room. I didn't miss a single nook or cranny. I was so focused on discovering the secret that I forgot about the rest of the world. Suddenly, ding, a secret compartment is found. Ding, the host can enter inside after drawing the patterns. In front of my eyes, a large panel appeared. I sucked cold breaths for a moment after seeing that. I assumed I'd find a home gateway, but not another undiscovered secret hideout. Then, after my heart had calmed down, I went through the same motions. When I finished the last stroke, whoosh, I walked into yet another brand new room. My eyes widened in disbelief the next second. This appeared to be a private space. More than likely, the ancient wizard Gregor's office. There is only one table and one desk, behind a slew of books arranged on shelves. But my attention was drawn to the crystal ball on the table. Another crystal ball, I exclaimed in surprise. Then I moved forward to place my hands on the crystal ball. Ding! Mansion control devices detected. Ding! The host can use his mental strength to recognize the device. My status panel displayed 2 lines of instructions. My eyes widened in surprise. I have command of the mansion, I grumbled to myself. Then, without further ado, I proceed to use my mental strength. When I infused it with my consciousness, in my mind a set of instructions appeared. I felt my mind filling up with information about the mansion. Time passed and I needed a few seconds to process the information. When I realized I had become the lord of the mansion, I sucked cold breaths. I also discovered that this massive mansion contains numerous secret chambers. However, they are inaccessible at my current level. When I realized this, a look of comprehension came over me. No surprise, I thought this massive mansion was unusually empty. My face broke into a wide smile the next second. However, there is one advantage as with other small or large items. I can fit this massive mansion into the system's storage space. That means I can investigate the mansion's mysteries whenever I want. When I think about it, the system's storage function is mind-boggling to me. Furthermore, I can use this massive mansion as a temporary residence in the future. As a result, I won't have to spend the night in the wilderness like a caveman. Ha ha ha, I exclaimed as I remembered it. My future will be fascinating. Then, after my heart had calmed down, I removed my hands from the crystal. Now that I've inherited the Gregor mansion, I can instruct the system to enter or exit this mansion. My attention was drawn to the rows of books arranged in racks. But then something occurred to me. I have no idea what is going on in the outside world. So I'm not going to waste my time here. The primary upload of this chapter happened on NOV3LB1N. I decided to leave the mansion after gaining some clarity in my thoughts. System, I want to exit from the mansion, I said to the system. Ding! The host's voice is recognized. Ding! The command is executed. Whoosh! When the command is carried out, I noticed the space distorting. The next thing I knew, I was on the lake's surface. Splash! I'm sensing the water around me. I swam immediately towards the shore. The sudden disturbance disturbed the aquatic monster once more. None of the monsters came to disturb me. That gave me enough time to get to the other side. A wave of ecstasy washed over me as I rose from the ground. I returned my gaze to the lake's surface. After a few seconds, the waves calmed down. This entire episode seemed surreal to me. I looked at the time, shaking my head. Monday, I complained to myself. My heart was filled with a sense of urgency. The current time is 5 a.m. I need to get back home before school starts, which appears to be quite impossible to me. I sighed inwardly after calculating the distance. Looks like I'm going to skip school today, I grumbled to myself. When I think back on the mansion, I never imagined how much time had passed inside it. After getting rid of the distracting thoughts, I decided to leave this place. Because I have a feeling this location will be investigated soon by level 4 wizards from powerful guilds. A glimmer of fear appeared in my eyes as I considered it. Without further ado, I began fleeing this location at full speed. Time passed. I came across a lot of second and third order monsters along the way. This includes the vexing bird-like monster. I continued my journey toward the hilly peaks after killing them. I arrived at the premise of hilly areas after a few hours. Fortunately, I didn't come across any hunters along the way. I must admit that my heart is now somewhat relaxed. Then I took my usual path to reach the dividing edge section. Time passed. When I got close to the dividing line after a few hours, I noticed many hunters from a distance. My heart skips a beat when I see them. Despite this, I am confident in my ability to eliminate them. But I don't want to reveal my location. So far, people have only made assumptions. They are unsure whether the existence of ruins exists in the first place. So I'd better take advantage of this opportunity to hide somewhere. Then I quickly went to a nearby hideout to wait for other hunters to pass. There are numerous routes to the vast plain. I'm taking the road less traveled. I'm hoping they don't come. I soon noticed the appearance of people. There are 5 groups totaling 25 wizards. When I saw that number, my eyes twinkled. Then I realized I had almost forgotten about something crucial. I witnessed a fierce battle between 2 groups before reaching the lake. Perhaps the news of their death reached their ears. The more I think about it, the more plausible it appears to me. Then I waited patiently for them to leave. I decided to leave when the last person left my sight. I soon crossed the dividing line and began walking toward the area close to the city wall. Suddenly, the former headmaster's image flashed before my eyes. My eyes glowed with an icy glint. The former headmaster regarded me as having a soft permission. But he hasn't met the real me. I snorted coldly, a harumph. I will undoubtedly kill him when the opportunity arises. The problem is that I never tested my gravity against the level 4 wizard. So I'm not sure if I'll be able to kill the level 4 wizard or not. But I have a sneaking suspicion that I will be confronted with level 4 wizard sooner rather than later. Instead of being afraid, I'm eager to find such a fight. Then, dispelling the thoughts, I accelerated towards the destination. Time passed. By the time I arrived at the massive city wall, it's already past noon. After entering Venin City, I boarded a nearby air car to return home. My storage bracelet contains a plethora of miscellaneous items. Before I sell them online, I need to sort them out. After a few hours, the air cab arrived at my house. I paid the fees after getting out of the car. But when I turned back to enter, Mom and Dad were already standing at the front door. When I saw the face of my parents, my expression froze. But I quickly recovered myself. Instead of panicking, I began to form a good answer in my mind. Then after gaining some clarity, I revealed a small smile on my face before walking up to the front door. "Vincent, we need to talk," Mother Lila Carey said in a solemn tone. I slowly nodded my head, hearing that. Then I walked into the house. Seeing me enter, Mom and Dad quickly followed me inside. Then 3 of us went to the living room and sat on the couch for a discussion. I watched both of their expression. Then I take a glance at the opposite room. Seeing that my good brother is not here, my mood brightens a little bit. Feeling the gazes of my parents, I decided to speak before they bombard me with questions. Cough. "Mom and Dad, I went to Vast Plains," I said with a straight face. Vast Plains? Brad Carey was shocked to the core. What? Lila Carey's brain went numb. Both of them felt it was unbelievable, but after seeing their son's serious expression, they did believe now. What are Vast Plains? They both know the horror of that place. As level 3 healer wizards, they already know that many 3rd and 4th order monsters reside there. In shock, Brad Carey asked, "Oh, what happened?" Looking at their dumbfounded expression, I sighed inside. Some time ago, I already told them about my hunting career, though their reactions were not big at the time. Because I only told them about my training in the outer area, which is close to the city wall. But the vast plain is different. Even strong wizards won't survive in that place. Well, I wanted to come back yesterday. But on the way, I felt the auras of a strong monster. So to escape from them, I ran in the opposite direction towards the vast plains. I said in a trembling voice. Gasp! Lila Carey got up from her seat. She forgot about their questioning. She immediately went near Vincent and checked whether her son has sustained any injury. As a level 3 healer wizard, she can easily see through the details. After seeing that her son is fine, she sighed in relief. Brad Carey was shocked as well. It's already a miracle to survive in that place. But his son had somehow escaped from this successfully. He also saw Vincent has no injury on himself, which further made him stunned. But still seeing that his son was safe, it is all that matters to him. Right now, the earlier displeasure was also swept away from his heart. Since the matter of their son's job as a hunter is known to them, they both had suspected that he might be in the wilderness. But they are dissatisfied with the lack of communication between them and their son, which made them worry a lot. Thinking about it, Brad Carey sighed. Although he wanted to ask what happened then. But now is not the time. Vincent needs to take some rest. Okay, you can go back to your room, Brad Carey said. My eyes gleamed with a twinkle. Then after once again telling them, I'm fine, I walked back to my room. Creak. After closing the door, I exhaled in relief. I did good back then by revealing my weekend job as a hunter. If not, my sudden disappearance would have risen a lot of eyebrows. Then dispelling the thoughts, I went to take bath. After some time, I changed into casual comfy clothes and laid down on my bed. System, show my status panel, I said to the system. Ding. The host's command is recognized. Ding. Level up system, 1.1 is ready. Status panel. Host's name, Vincent Carey. Magic power, gravity. Mage level 1 limiter. 6 months remain to level up. Mental method, gravity arc, running. Grade, earth. Running mode, automatic. Rate of absorption, 80%. Gravity core status, 42%, progressing. 5.5%/month. Sacred core formless. Mana power, 700. Mana capacity, 700. Talent, top bottom, upgradable. Color pale orange. Strength, 73. Speed, 74. Stamina, 75. Vitality, 100. Limit has been reached. Intelligence, 50. Limit has been reached. Soul power, 50. Limit has been reached. Constitution, 50. Limit has been reached. Sacred gravity physique, 1%. Mental power, 50. Limit has been reached. Spells, 3. 1. Gravity field, 2. Gravity push, 3. Gravity pull. Slots filled, 3. Title, Lord of the Gregor Mansion. Storage space items, the Gregor Mansion, magic artifact, herbs, potions and tattered spellbooks, etc. A wide status panel appeared in front of my eyes. Seeing that, my gaze immediately fell on the updated version 1.1. I cracked up a wide smile. When I look back, the whole situation seems unreal. It's a huge pie fallen from the sky, I grumbled to myself. Then I quickly began to look into my statistics. Seeing that there are 2 additional lines in my status, I looked at it. Title. I uttered in surprise. Is there any value to it? A lot of questions appeared in my mind. But the next second I dispelled the unnecessary thoughts. Maybe the system listed out my achievements. I form my own conjecture about the title. Then my gaze fell on the next line. Which seems most important to me. System storage function. I saw the number of items in the system's storage. Except the Gregor Mansion. The rest of the items were looted once. Seeing that there are many, I decided to sort them now one by one. Time passed. After sorting out the items, I sold them online a few hours later. Now my bank account balance is 10,000 alliance points. Seeing the amount, the image of the Claudia gem flashed before my eyes. With this amount, I can easily gain a breakthrough to reach level 2, I grumbled to myself. But sadly, I need to complete my 2 years here in school before going to the Yellow River Academy. Now that precious opportunity in the wilderness has been taken away by me. That wilderness doesn't pique my curiosity anymore. I should travel to other places to explore more opportunities. The more I think about it, the more it looked good time. Otherwise, I have to spend the remaining 2 years in boredom. After gaining some clarity in my thoughts, I thought about visiting the Claudia gym. Suddenly, realization dawned upon me. I almost forgot about the pressing issue. I smacked my forehead. How to kill the former headmaster Colin. My eyes gleamed with a cold glint. I assume he had already lost contact with his subordinates. I don't know what will he do next. Will he send more powerful wizards to kill me? Or will he do it himself? Various thoughts come to mind. In the end, I came to a good conclusion. I'm going to inform Mr. John Myers. I began to type the text. I omitted the killing of the subordinates. After typing the text, I sent the message to him. I only told him that I'm being followed by unknown wizards. So I made an immediate request to help me. I hope Mr. John Myers will do something after reading the message. Then I slowly began to sleep. Pent Luxurious Hotel. Colin Sanders has received some information from his contacts. When he read that, his face revealed a strange expression. Died? He said to himself. Through his contacts, he found that his subordinates had entered the wilderness. It's been more than 2 days now. But there is information from them. None of them exited the wilderness. Which made him think of only a conclusion. His subordinates were killed. Colin's expression has changed drastically. His face becomes distorted. His subordinates were not ordinary wizards. They are elites. With 1 level, 3 wizard and 4 level, 2 wizards, this number is enough to shake small and medium forces around here. But they died unknowingly inside the wilderness, which left Colin with no face. This is all because of the brat. He cursed at Vincent Carey at this moment. Suddenly, Colin's expression froze. His hands and feet began to tremble in fear. I crossed the deadline, he muttered to himself in fear. Colin was extremely scared. He remembered the deadline set by his higher-ups. A cold shiver went down his spine. If Vincent Carey was not killed, he will die. Now that his subordinates were gone, he don't know what happened to that brat. In confusion, he turned back. His pupil constricts upon seeing a stranger all of a sudden in his room. Looking at the dark robe, he understood immediately. It's over, he closed his eyes and waited for death. Thud. The next second, a cold corpse dropped to the ground. Colin Sanders was killed in a blink of an eye. Looking at the cold corpse, the dark silhouette sneered, a waste. Then the dark silhouette turned the cold corpse into ashes and then disappeared from the house. From now on, no one will know what happened to Colin Sanders except one organization in the world. Mr. John Myers, who was at home, was taking care of academy affairs. As a result, he didn't consider checking his inbox. When he had free time, he would usually check. He is currently working on a document and estimates that it will take half an hour. Time passed. After finishing the office work, John exhaled a sigh of relief. He then took his gaze away from the projection screen. Finally, it's finished, he grumbled to himself. Then he raised his left arm casually to inspect the communication watch. He exclaimed in surprise after seeing so many notifications. He decided to check his inbox now that his office work was finished. He began reading the messages one by one. When his gaze landed on the contact name, Vincent Carey, his eyes gleamed with delight. He immediately remembered the strange meteor rock he had given to Vincent a few days before. He then read the message aloud. His eyes gleamed with a cold glint after a few minutes. Who has the audacity to pursue a Yellow River Academy student? He stood up from his seat and said that. Mr. John Myers started to think. He wants to know if the incident has anything to do with their academy or Vincent Carey's personal life. But as far as he knows, that child is descended from a simple mage family. Both of that child's parents were working as healers for a reputable organization. So Vincent's background isn't all that impressive. The more he thought about it, the more he realized it had something to do with the academy. Vincent's family has no chance of offending anyone. So, where is the source of this issue? Several questions arose in his mind. After a few moments of thought, Mr. John decided to contact Vincent to clarify things. When he made the call, it was immediately connected. He ended the call after an hour of speaking with Vincent. Mr. John Myers leaned back in his chair. His expression was solemn this time. His previous assumption was correct. This situation has nothing to do with Vincent Carey or his family. He learned from the previous conversation that several wizards were keeping an eye on Vincent Carey's home. But none of them had done anything. The wizard's power and organization were also unknown. He sighed inwardly as he considered it. He also understands Vincent Carey's situation. Vincent Carey is a schoolboy. He is too young to understand certain aspects of the wizarding world. While thinking, John tapped his fingers on the desk. The situation was dire, whether it was due to spies from certain mage organizations or hostile wizards. He finally decided to dispatch wizards to protect Vincent Carey. No way, security is essential. Despite the fact that the child has yet to join their organization. However, for a sub-taboo wizard, the academy will not mind doing something as simple as this. But then he remembered the strange meteor rock and changed his mind. Well, I guess I should go there and see what's going on, he mumbled. I also want to see what the kid did with the strange meteor rock, he sighed to himself. His perspective on the small meteor country has shifted since he left it. He has a hunch that, more than their Yellow River Academy, the Meteor Country would be a good fit for a sub-taboo wizard like Vincent Carey. It was only a thought, but he quickly recovered from it. Despite the fact that the Meteor Country appears mysterious, it is not his organization. He believes that his organization will not squander Vincent Carey's talent. He decided to visit the Red City a few days later after gaining some clarity. Time passed. Mr. John Myers arrived in the Red City 2 days later. He didn't contact Vincent Carey after arriving. He didn't even inform the child of his arrival. He doesn't want the anonymous wizards to be notified. They are closely monitoring the child. If he exhibits any changes as a result of his arrival, others will be notified immediately. He understands the cruelty of the wizardry world as a cunning old fox. So, before coming here, he had already decided to look into things. If the anonymous wizards have anything to do with his organization, it is critical that he investigate these matters. He changed into casual clothing a few minutes later to avoid drawing attention to himself. Level 5 wizard's momentum can easily sweep away nearby buildings. Looking down the street at all the regular people, he felt a little uneasy. However, for the sake of the investigation, he didn't take a breath. He muttered to himself, morning, 10 a.m. First, let's go to his school, he told himself after coming up with a suitable plan. A dark-robed man, on the other hand, is secretly staring at the entrance to the Little Stargate High School. As he reflected on the events of the previous days, his face distorted. Curse that brat, this time I will definitely catch him, the dark-robed man said, his eyes bloodshot. His organization, the Dark League, had ordered him to kill Colin Sanders and complete Colin Sanders' unfinished business of killing the talented seed of Yellow River Academy. The dark-robed man's eyes are filled with hatred when it comes to the Yellow River Academy. Even if there is no mission, he will not stop killing Yellow River Academy students whenever the opportunity arises. Despite the fact that the brat is not a student at Yellow River Academy, his hatred for that brat hasn't subsided much. For the past 2 days, he has been staring at a brat named Vincent Carey. The brat never left his house except to go to school. He would have slaughtered the brat and his family if it hadn't been for his organization's strict warning. He is forbidden by the organization from exposing himself. The Dark League wishes for Vincent Carey to vanish into thin air. No one, including the mighty Yellow River Academy, should know what happened to him in the future. That's why the dark-robed man has waited. This in turn increased his hatred. He'd never done anything like this before. He has no idea why his organization was so determined to complete this mission in secret. So what if the Yellow River Academy is aware? Various thoughts raced through the dark-robed man's mind. He's not sure how much longer he can take this. If his patience runs out, he will have no choice but to kill the brat in broad daylight. It's a piece of cake for a level 4 wizard like him to erase Vincent Carey. Time passed. Mr. John Myers, like any other pedestrian, walked past Little Stargate High School 2 hours later. He may appear normal on the outside, but on the inside, he is keeping an eye on his surroundings. He became much more vigilant after arriving here. He has no idea why, but it's unusual for a level 5 wizard to feel uneasy in this place. Something is wrong, he believes. His instincts had never let him down. He quickly spread his senses throughout the school. He came to a halt and decided to wait for a while. The anonymous wizard could be hiding somewhere here. Soon, his senses moved past the wizard's presence and he vanished from the scene. His unexpected movement drew attention and other pedestrians nearby began to flee in terror. The dark-robed man sat patiently waiting. When he felt a wave of consciousness wash over him, his pupil constricts. Who exactly is it? He exclaimed in shock. Then he fixed his gaze on a specific structure within Little Stargate High School. As far as he knows, there are 2 strong existences on the same level as him inside the school building. He also learned that the current headmaster of this school is only a level 3 wizard. As a result, there aren't many people who can harm him. But he has no idea that someone is secretly staring at him right now. The person is none other than Mr. John Myers. Mr. John Myers crept into the shadows and watched the dark-robed man from above, his face instantly turning solemn upon recognizing the dark mage robe. Dark League, he thought to himself. What exactly is this rep from that organization doing here? He had an unexpected thought. Don't tell me he came for Vincent Carey, he said. A cold glint flashed in his eyes. John believed his assumption was more likely to be correct. The Dark League organization has been secretly killing the talented seed of Yellow River Academy for decades. Everyone knows the open secret, but this time they started doing it at the school level. If this is made public, this audacious act will offend many organizations. He couldn't help but notice the dark-robed man as he thought about it. It's no surprise they're being so tight-lipped this time. Fortunately, he arrived in time, saving Vincent Carey's life as well. Then he started hatching good plans in his head. Little Stargate High School. Class A1. The atmosphere inside the class is changed since the previous combat class, especially after Frank's ruthless attack against Cooper. The bottom-ranked wizards didn't even dare to take a look at Frank Lambert anymore. Even more, the top-ranked wizards began to riot him all of a sudden. Seeing the solemn atmosphere around me, I don't know what to make of it. Because in the year-end competition there will be more surprise awaiting everyone. I also decided to reveal my cards at the year-end competition. Before that, I need to maintain my low-key status. "Brother, that guy is staring at you," Lucas Brad said in a solemn tone. Hearing that, I turned towards my left side. Then I saw Frank Lambert staring at me with a face full of smiles. What happened to him? I grumbled. To be honest, there is no grudge between us. Maybe my performance in combat class drew his attention, because it's abnormal for a newcomer to defeat mid-ranked wizards. But I have done that very easily. I sighed inwardly thinking about it. Now, I have no interest in dealing with Frank Lambert yet, because my mind is occupied with some other issue. Colin Sanders, I don't know what else is he planning. And I haven't received any reply from Mr. John Myers also. "Brother," Lucas called out to Vincent, seeing that he is spacing out. Hearing my name, I retracted my thoughts and looked at Fatty. I replied, "Lucas, what about your strength? Don't forget that the year-end competition is coming. It's the best opportunity to gain resources," I added further. Lucas was stunned hearing the words. Then he quickly realized what is going on inside Brother Vincent's mind. Unlike him, Brother Vincent hails from a simple mage family. So no wonder he is thinking about the resources all the time. He had previously assumed that Brother Vincent is thinking about strategies. The next moment, he revealed a bitter smile on his face. "Sorry, brother. I thought you were planning something else," Lucas Brad said in an apologetic tone. Hearing that, I shook my head. I still don't feel safe exposing my strength. Then dispelling the thoughts, I put my concentration on the lecture. On the other hand, a cold glint flashed into Frank's eyes. Seeing that, the newcomer Vincent Carey ignored him, his heart boiling in anger. Looks like my previous attack against Cooper is not enough, Frank thought to himself. Last time he attacked Cooper ruthlessly to warn others, though he has seen the satisfactory result in others' eyes. But the person he is most looking forward to was not afraid at all. Frank didn't like Vincent Carey at all, especially after hearing his remarks during the Star Battle platform. He had already decided to teach him a lesson when the time comes. But nowadays, his plans were ended up in vain. His face becomes gloomy when he thinks about it. He can't directly attack the newcomer Vincent Carey, because the top-ranked wizards are more powerful compared to the rest of the classmates. Even half of the attack power can severely injure bottom-ranked wizards. The best example was their classmate Cooper. His injuries caused others to woke up from their stupor. No matter what, bottom-ranked wizards can't win against the top-ranked ones. Likewise, Frank's mind was occupied with various thoughts. If Vincent Carey was injured because of his attack, then the consequences will be disastrous. And fight between wizards inside the school camps is also strictly forbidden. If he breaks the rules, then the punishment will be severe. When he thinks about all those things, his face has become even more distorted. Humph, there is still plenty of time in my hands. I can slowly wait and torture him, Frank sneered inside. Frank is also aware that there might be a good organization behind Vincent Carey. Thinking about the sub-taboo magic, his eyes flashed with envy. So far he hasn't thought about going extreme. The idea of killing Vincent Carey hasn't surfaced in his mind. It's just he wants to put Vincent Carey in his place. In his opinion, there is no need for a newcomer to hop around that much. Then after taking one glance at Vincent, he retracted his thoughts and began to listen to the lecture. Time passed. Few hours before the end of the class. The dark-robed man is waiting for his prey. Outside he may look calm and composed, but inside his patience is running out of time. He looked at the clock once more and sneered inside. Just a few more hours, I'll peel that brat's skin alive. Thinking about methods of torture, his eyes flashed with expectation. The Dark League organization wants him to make the brat disappear. But they didn't tell him how to do that. Using this opportunity, he decided to do some experiments on that brat. Thinking about it, he let out a creepy laugh, he. But he still doesn't aware that he had already become the target of someone else. John Myers' eyes stared at the rat from the Dark League. Looking at his behavior, he was somewhat convinced that the dark-robed man is going to target Vincent Carey. He made up his mind to arrest this person for interrogation. But he decided to confirm one more time before arresting. Time passed. When the classes came to an end, A huge bell rang, indicating that students can leave the school. The dark-robed man became alert. He set his gaze on the school's entry and exit gate. Then he saw students exiting the building one by one. A few minutes later, students began to exit from the A-rank building. The dark-robed man observed them when they walked out of the school. But so far he hasn't seen Vincent Carey. Where is that brat? He thought to himself. He began to scan around the premise. Still, a wave of students came towards the exit. Seeing that, he decided to wait for more. But he knows there is no other exit apart from this one. Soon, a silhouette attracts his attention. Two students coming towards the exit. One was leaner and another one was fat. The dark-robed man saw both of them wearing A1 class badges. When he saw the face of the lean kid, he immediately recognized it. The next second, he burst out into laughter. "Ha ha ha, finally caught you, Vincent Carey," he said with a laugh. He thinks he is talking to himself. But he don't know he was doomed when he uttered that words. When the dark-robed man decided to act, his expression froze. He felt an unknown powerful sense captured him. The next second he decided to break out with his full power. But no matter what, he couldn't even move his muscles. Realizing that he broke out in cold sweat, a terrible feeling enveloped his heart. Who is it? He thought to himself. On the other hand, John Myers sighed in relief. After capturing the dark-robed man, he set his eyes on Vincent Carey. Seeing that the kid was not aware of anything, he sighed inwardly. Then he looked at the dark-robed man with a cold glint. The next second, both of them disappeared from the spot. John Myers dragged the dark-robed man towards the abandoned residential area. A few minutes later, he dropped the body of the dark-robed man on top of the building. Thud. The dark-robed man from the Dark League was genuinely terrified. His scalp went numb after realizing that he was captured. He couldn't even run his mana. Everything was sealed. He had never expected a small wizard school to have a powerful wizard to protect them. "I'm going to die," he muttered to himself in fear. After dropping him down, John Myers began to ponder. Now he has to do some changes to his plans. Since the Dark League's intentions were clear, he needs to inform this shocking news to his higher-ups. Then John Myers began to type a short encrypted message and send it to the academy. He doesn't know when the Dark League started to kill wizard students. If there were other wizard schools, then he believes that the academy will take strict action against the Dark League. Earlier, he wanted to do some solo interrogation. But the more he thinks about the problem, he realized that higher-ups will object to his actions. The Dark League's actions don't look that simple. If he takes this person to the academy, higher-ups may implement sophisticated methods to get answers from him. A quick glint flashed into his eyes. After pondering for a few moments, he decided to request assistance from the academy. Because he still feels Vincent is not safe here. He doesn't want any mishap to happen after he went away from this place. So he made up his mind to protect Vincent from the dark until help arrives. After gaining some clarity, he took a dark-robed man towards Carey's residence. He decided to monitor Carey's house from a nearby building. John Myers' message was received by his superior. The news sent by John has sent huge shockwaves to the entire upper echelons of the academy. The information was quickly shared with the high-rank wizards of the Yellow River Academy. Since John Myers has a reputable name inside the academy, so no one doubted his words. The academy quickly acted to see whether a similar situation is taking place anywhere in this country or other places. The Yellow River Academy has also sent a female level 5 wizard for John's assistance. This matter quickly spread like wildfire. But surprisingly, the Yellow River Academy acted fiercely to prevent the information from leaking. At the same time, other higher-ups are thinking about convening a quick meeting. This issue is of utmost importance to the academy. There should be a meeting for proper discussion to avoid future troubles. John Myers has no idea what's going on. But he has received a message from his superior that help is on the way. He just needs to wait for a while. The building next to Carey's residence? The dark-robed man was unconscious. Right next to him, John Myers spread his senses around this residential area to check whether any Dark League wizards were roaming around there. Casually, he takes a glance at the unconscious body before looking at the Carey's residence. He is pondering whether is it good to meet Vincent Carey or not. Because he also has the same idea as a dark-robed man. He doesn't want his identity to be exposed. Right now, the Yellow River Academy is in light, and the Dark League is in dark. So the current situation is favorable to him. So he doesn't want any mishap to happen because of his idea. Then he removed his thoughts about meeting Vincent from his mind. Right now, for him, Vincent's safety is important. The following day, John Myers saw Vincent Carey is going to school as usual. Seeing that, he followed the kid until he walked into the school campus. Then he immediately touched his communication watch to contact the helper. His superior had already told him about the helper last night. She is a powerful wizard. Even though both were the same rank, he is a little bit worse compared to her. Shaking his head, he sent a quick message to her about their meeting point. The current location is not suitable, and he also doesn't want to linger around the police headquarters. 2 hours later. Beep! John Myers' communication watch lit up with notifications. After reading the message, his eyes gleamed with a twinkle. He came to know that the helper has arrived. He disappeared from the spot. 10 minutes later, John Myers appeared together with a dark-robed man in an abandoned residential area. After arriving here, he scanned the surroundings with mental strength. Seeing that everything was fine, he eased his eyebrows and waited for the helper's arrival. Soon, he began to notice some changes. From normal sunny days to thunderous dark clouds. The atmosphere changed for a moment. Seeing that, his expression changed drastically. What's happening? He grumbled. But suddenly he realized all of this was an illusion. He has been tricked. John Myers' expression couldn't help but turn solemn. His eyes were condensed. He realized this is not the work of the enemy but the helper. Ha ha, ha, a bell-like laughter resonated throughout the area next second. When the laughter echoed throughout the area, the illusion cracked into little pieces. Finally, John Myers saw the sunny light. The next second, his eyes fell on the female wizard in front of him. Kate Cohen's, he said in a solemn tone. The female wizard dressed in a black tuxedo to cover her identity. If any normal humans look at her, they may well feel she is a normal office worker. Kate Cohen's have long black hair and black eyes. She is 5.6 foot tall in height. Her skin tone was fair. There is not even a breath of mana can be seen on her. If she didn't reveal herself as a wizard, then no one will suspect her except wizards ranked higher than her. After dispelling the illusion, Kate Cohen stopped laughing. She looked at John Myers before her gaze fell on the unconscious body. Looking at the dark-robed man, her beautiful face frowns. So, he is a member of the Dark League, she said to herself. She has already seen through the level of the dark-robed man. He is a level 4 wizard. The appearance of such a wizard in this barren city is alarming. Her brain quickly connected a lot of dots. Then she looked at the colleague standing in front of her. John, you still couldn't able to break out my illusion spell, she said with a small chuckle. Hearing that, John sighed inwardly. But his expression hasn't changed a bit. The person in front of her is invisible in the same rank. Though her magic power is an illusion, her combat strength can rival even power-type wizards. After dispelling the thoughts, he politely asked, are there any instructions from the superior? Kate Cohen's remained silent for a moment before replying, there is nothing, I came here for this Dark League member. Hearing that, John Myers sighed in relief. He is glad that he has made the right decision by informing the Academy right away. As he had assumed earlier, the Academy will arrange for someone to interrogate this person. After gaining some clarity, he said, okay, you can take him. John Myers raised his hand and the next second unconscious body of the dark-robed man was pushed near Kate Cohen's. He believes that the Academy must have given her an artifact to capture this person alive. The next second, he saw just like he expected. Kate Cohen's pulls out a triangular-shaped magic artifact from her storage bracelet. After activation, the palm-sized triangular artifact enlarges in size. In a few seconds, it becomes twice the size of her height. Then Kate Cohen's pushes the magic artifact towards the unconscious body. When the triangular artifact comes into contact with the person, it immediately captured the dark-robed person inside. Now the artifact appeared to be like a triangular prison cell. The next second, an even more wondrous thing happened. Kate Cohen's again makes the artifact to shrink in size, until the artifact has reduced to small size and fell on her palms. If one can see closely, one will see height rank wizard captured inside the palm-sized triangular artifact. Seeing the artifact, Kate reveals a bright smile on her face before storing it inside her storage bracelet. On the other hand, John Myers didn't even blink his eyes. The triangular artifact is a rare imprisoned-type artifact. As far as he knows, even the level 6 wizard can be captured inside. But the difficulty lies in handling the artifact. It's not easy to use, but Kate Cohen's made it look like a piece of cake. Thinking about it, he revealed a bitter smile on his face. Kate Cohen's caught the expression of John. Then suddenly she thought something. Oh yes. I heard that this Dark League man was after our sub-taboo seed. How is he doing right now? She asked. John Myers smiled and said, he is fine. He doesn't know anything. Kate Cohen's blinked her big eyes. She didn't believe his words at all. But John Myers' business has nothing to do with her. So she didn't care. Then she recalled the talented seed which she had recruited to the academy some time ago. That talented seed has the same age as the young boy recommended by John. Thinking about the future special class program, her eyes gleamed with a twinkle. I'm looking forward to the coming special class program, she said. All right, I'm leaving then. Saying that, she disappeared from the spot. John Myers stood in the same place for a few moments. He was surprised to hear that there is no further instruction for him from his superior, which means he is free for the time being. Shaking his head, he decided to leave the place. Before leaving, he glanced at the place where Kate Cohen's has stood before. As far as he knows, Kate Cohen's also recruited a talented seed some time ago. She happens to be the same age as Vincent. John recalled her previous words. She said she is looking forward to the special class program. But Vincent has still 2 years. He frowns. He thinks there is some deep meaning behind her words. The debut release happened at N0V3 Albin. Then dispelling the thoughts, he left the place. Somewhere in a distant country, a beautiful silhouette is practicing her magic in the middle of the snow plain. There is no green vegetation around her. The surrounding plains were covered in thick snow. The beautiful silhouette walked barefoot like she is not affected by the extreme cold. Ice tornado, she said. When the beautiful silhouette released her magic spell, the calm snow plain was instantly disturbed. Out of nowhere, a large funnel-shaped, rotating air current was formed. Soon the ice tornado enlarged in size and began to cause heavy destruction around the surroundings. If one looked at the ice tornado closely, one can see a small beautiful silhouette controlling the ice tornado without breaking any sweat. John Myers decided to go back to the Yellow River Academy after monitoring the situation for a few days. He believes that the Dark League would not send any more of its members after Vincent Carey. He also believes that it will be a matter of time before the Dark League finds out that their plans have failed. Time passed. After 2 days, John Myers received important instructions from his superior. When he read the instruction, he almost couldn't believe his eyes. He read it once more to confirm the information. The academy wants to start the special class program 1 year later. This means Vincent Carey will join the academy at the age of 17. After figuring out everything, a quick glint flashed in his eyes. He recalled his previous words of Kate. Based on these instructions, it's safe to tell. She already knows about this. The appearance of the Dark League has changed the whole plan now. John Myers thinks that decision was made by higher-ups of echelons. Instead of giving protection to the talented seeds for 2 years, they might think it's wise to bring talented seeds earlier under their wings. When he realized this, a wide smile spread on my face. This situation might be beneficial to Vincent Carey, he said to himself. He quite understands the station of Vincent Carey. That brat has average talent compared to geniuses back in the academy. The only thing that sets him apart is the sub-taboo magic. If the academy gives enough resources to Vincent, he may develop smoothly hereafter. Then after gaining some clarity, he decided to inform Vincent Carey tomorrow. After having breakfast, I decided to leave for school. I walked out of the house and walked straight towards the school. I have to say, this week is going good for me. There is no tension or drama. Even Frank and Liam minded their own business. I didn't feel any hostile gazes from me. This is weird. But I have a vague feeling that everyone is preparing for the year-end competition. So this might be the actual case. Everyone is focused on improving their strength. So they don't want to cause any trouble. If this goes on, the upcoming months would be peaceful for me. A quick glint flashed into my eyes. I should use this opportunity to reach the next level as soon as possible. When I was thinking about it, suddenly someone locked me. A few minutes later, I found myself appearing on top of the building. This horrible feeling. I felt my chest being tightened. The next second, I felt the presence of a person in front of me. When I raised my head to see, I immediately recognized the person. Mr. John, I exclaimed in surprise. I had never expected to see him this soon. For a moment, I don't know what to say. Then a look of realization dawned upon me. A couple of days ago, I sent him a message about my trouble. I don't know whether he had dealt with Colin Sanders or not. A couple of questions appeared in my heart, but I remained calm and composed from the outside. On the other hand, John Myers' expression was solemn. When he met Vincent for the first time, Vincent was no different than an ordinary human. But right now there is a drastic change. John felt Vincent was stronger than average level 1 wizards. This feeling, he won't know how to describe it. Is this due to his sub-taboo power? He said in his heart. Then shaking his head, he thought about another possibility. Vincent's core formation might have risen in these days. But John feels absurd. He knows Vincent has awakened recently, so it's impossible to have a high rate of core formation. Only people with top talent and above have such a high-speed core formation rate. So he immediately removed such absurd thoughts from his mind. Then his gaze fell on Vincent Carey one more. The more he looks at him, the more he realizes that it has something to do with Vincent's gravity talent. On the other hand, looking at the serious face of Mr. John, I don't know what's the deal. He captured me without my permission and brought me here to this abandoned building. I don't know what is going on. Cough, cough. I coughed twice to break the awkward atmosphere. Hearing that, Mr. John retracted his thoughts and looked at me. Vincent, how are you doing lately? Mr. John asked me. I'm fine, Mr. John. But I don't know why you brought me here. I answered with a smile on my face. Mr. John wasn't surprised by the words. He knows he was abrupt in his act. So he decides to inform the information first. The Academy has decided to start the special class program 1 year later, so you will be joining the Academy formally then, Mr. John said in a solemn tone. What? I exclaimed in disbelief. This news is too good to be true. For a moment, my brain stopped working. It took me some seconds to process the information. After a few seconds, I calmed down my heart. This information will change a lot of my plans. But when I thought about the Academy, I felt it's better to go there instead of wasting time here. I will have great improvement at the Academy, and I may across many rare super relics opportunities. With this, I can also improve my talent further. My eyes gleamed with delight. Finally, I realized this is a good chance for my overall development. The next second, I asked, Mr. John, what happened? Mr. John smiled mysteriously. He wants to tell us all because of him. If not for Vincent's request for help, he wouldn't have chance to know about the Dark League's involvement. Thinking about it, he sighed inwardly. But unfortunately, he is not allowed to reveal information to Vincent. Vincent's level is too low. Once he reaches the high-rank wizard level, he will eventually learn about many things. Then dispelling thoughts, he replied, well, this time there are many talented seeds recruited in our academy. So the academy thought about changing the schedule. The special program's environment is very competitive. There are many taboos, sub-taboo, and variant class wizards. So you may better take this 1 year for improvement. Only in this way you will not be kicked out of the class, Mr. John added further. He is not joking. He saved Vincent from the Dark League's members. But Vincent will be truly safe once he joins the academy. But it's not easy to stick around there. Vincent's talent is worse. If not for his sub-taboo class gravity magic, the academy wouldn't have recruited him. On the other hand, my expression turned solemn. There is a wave of storms in my heart. What? There are many wizards like me and some were many times stronger than me. I sucked a cold breath. Super talent plus taboo magic equals dangerous wizard. It's hard to imagine such a scenario. But soon I calmed down my heart. I'm not helpless. I have a level up system. As long as I consume a super relic, my journey won't be different from other taboo class or sub-taboo class wizards. I gained some confidence after realizing that I have a system to support me. There is no need to be afraid. I will eventually catch up with other talented seeds of the academy. Sigh. I let out a small sigh before saying, don't worry, Mr. John. I will make good use of this opportunity. Hearing that, John nodded in approval. In his opinion, it's good to know one's limit. Seeing Vincent's calm eyes, John sighed in relief. Then suddenly he thought about something. Weird meteor, he thought to himself. He almost forgot about that thing. Then looking at Vincent, he asked, it's good that you know your limits. Then I remember, I gifted you that weird meteor. Did you find anything? Hearing that, a quick glint flashed into my eyes. I have to say, that mysterious meteor changed my gravity magic. Because of it, the power of gravitational force increased by many folds. Instead of sub-taboo, my gravity magic should be rated as a taboo class. The current gravitational pressure is a real terror. Various thoughts appeared in my mind. But I don't know whether it's good to tell him or not. Then I felt I should keep something to myself. Feeling the gaze of Mr. John, I politely replied, Mr. John, I feel some connection with that material. But my level is too low to discover anything. A surprise glint flashed in John's eyes. So that meteor rock has something to do with gravity magic, he thought to himself. This chapter was first shared on the B1NN0V3L platform. Then he is glad that it didn't turn out as waste material. But it's pity Vincent's level is low. He needs to wait until Vincent gets strong. Then shaking his head, he asked, do you have any other questions? Hearing that, I immediately thought about the meteor rock. If there is more mysterious meteor rock, then my gravity power will further improve. Mr. John, can I get a similar weird meteor rock? Looking at him, I asked expectantly. Because the weird meteor can narrow down the gap between me and those talented seeds from powerful backgrounds. A surprised glint flashed in John's eyes. But it quickly went away. Since Vincent feels that weird meteor rock can help him, then I should look into this matter more, he thought to himself. Then looking at Vincent, he replied, all right, if I can find more such meteor rocks, then I will collect them and give them to you. He is not bragging. He is quite sure that the Mad Research Group in Meteor Rock Country have this meteor rock under them for research purposes. But as far as he knows, they failed to find the use of the material. Thinking about it, he revealed a bright smile on his face. Then looking at Vincent, he feels that Vincent will find the uses before those mad researchers. Hearing assurance from Mr. John, I sighed in relief. Then I remembered the most important thing. I asked, what about those unknown wizards who were stalking me recently? John wasn't surprised by the question. He said with some assurance, they are gone. No one will pose any threat to you again. As I said before, just focus on how to improve your strength in the coming months. Hearing that, I nodded my head in response. Then after talking about a few other things, he dropped me back at my house. Looking at his disappeared back, I sighed inwardly. Everything is going to change from now onwards, I muttered to myself. After getting into my room, I recalled our earlier conversation. Mr. John's advice continues to ring in my ears. Unless I reach level 2, the uneasiness in my heart won't go away. Then a flash of determination appeared in my eyes. I made up my mind to visit the Claudia gym frequently. The Venom City. The disappearance of the Sword Guild's hunters finally got noticed by some bigwigs. But due to other strong guilds' interference, none of them made any move. Instead, they again send a batch of hunters with level 3 wizards as their head. The Sword Guild wants to determine the exact area of ruin before anyone could find it. A few days later, the special area on the vast plains was crowded with hunters. Not only the hunter group from the Sword Guild. There were several uninvited guests were present at that place also. As usual, in the end, a fierce clash breaks out. The level 3 wizards from the Sword Guild began to oppress others. As a result, the hunters from other guilds were defeated in the end. The bigwigs from the Sword Guild have given some deadly artifacts to their hunters for this trip. They don't want to see a similar situation happen again. Fortunately, this helped the Sword Guild's hunters to gain victory. The Sword Guild wizards then began to explore the special area. Time passed. The exploration went for several days. But none of them had thought about checking out the calm and clear lake. The Sword Guild's hunters had searched the nook and corners of the special place except the lake. Finally, the leader of the group concluded that the existence of the ruin was just a rumor. With that, everyone returned empty-handed. When they returned, the other strong guilds in the nearby areas were aware of the news. Somehow the information was leaked. Everyone ridiculed the Sword Guild for their misadventure. Some guilds felt lucky that they didn't send their hunters blindly to the vast plains. Slowly, the issue about the ruins is settled down between guilds. Even the government remained silent after hearing the news. They just watched everything happen on the sidelines. The competition between the guilds is something monitored by the Adventurer Union, so they felt it was unnecessary to intervene. When everything settled down, peace returned to the Venom City. The hunters from various guilds continued their old lifestyle. At the same time, the turmoil at police headquarters was also settled down. The news about the sudden demise of Leon Willie inside the prison cell caused a lot of dissatisfaction. Level 5 wizard Billy Woods was called back to the capital for questioning. Apart from that, the operation of the police force remained as usual. Someone had taken the in charge of the investigation department for the time being. Time passed in a blink of an eye. Everyone back in Little Stargate High School had put aside their differences and focused on the year-end competition. On the other hand, a new building for the unique magic users was inaugurated by the headmaster. And the first batch of unique magic users was personally taught by the headmaster himself. Rumor is that the new batch of unique magic users are also going to participate in the year-end competition. But the rumors were discussed by bottom-ranked wizards. The remaining top and mid-ranked wizards in the entire school were preparing for the competition. Wizard students from Class A Division A1 to A6 to Class D Division D1 to D6, including the newly formed unique user class that is signed up for the competition. 1 week before the year-end competition, the vast plains wilderness. Under the shade of a huge mountain cave, sitting calmly, I began to sort out my collections. Liver of third-order salamander, the roots of a blood-sucking flower, the tooth of third-order croc monster, the petals of a blind rose and other miscellaneous herbs. My eyes gleamed with twinkle when I counted the valuable magic materials inside my storage bracelet. Then I placed the storage bracelet inside my system's storage space. I have to say, these vast plains are paradise compared to the outer areas. There are a lot of magic materials that can be found here. Thinking about my collection, a wide smile spread on my face. If I sell this material for a good amount, then I don't have to worry about my weekend practice. Then I thought about the year-end competition. I can't wait for this week to end. System, show my status panel, I said to the system. Ding. The host's command is recognized. Ding. Level up system, 1.1 is ready. Status panel. Host's name, Vincent Carey. Magic power, gravity. Mage level 2 limiter. 6 months remain to level up. Mental method, gravity arc, running. Grade, earth. Running mode, automatic. Rate of absorption, 80%. Gravity core status, LVL.2, 10%. Progressing. 5.5%/month. Sacred core, gravity core. Mana power, 700. Mana capacity, 700. Talent, top bottom, upgradable. Color pale orange. Strength, 117. Speed, 112. Stamina, 126. Vitality, 122. The debut release occurred at NOV3 bin. Intelligence, LVL.2, 20. Soul power, LVL.2, 18. Constitution LVL.2, 23. Sacred gravity physique, 2%. Mental power, LVL.2, 24. Spells 3. 1. Gravity field 2. Gravity push 3. Gravity pull. Slots filled 3. Title, Lord of the Gregor Mansion. Storage space items, the Gregor Mansion, magic artifact, herbs, potions and spell books, etc. A wide status panel appeared in front of my eyes. As my gaze fell on the statistics, I cracked up a smile. It's been a few weeks since I had a breakthrough. Compared to my former weak self, now my strength has risen many folds. At that time, after the breakthrough, I observed a drastic change in my core area. Instead of cloudy gray mists, now there is a small palm-sized circular gray core. Looking at the status panel, I guess this was stage 2 development. If I continue to break through in future, I believe the size of the core will increase. Though it was palm-sized, I felt an endless amount of gravity power from it. I know this is my magic core. If anything happens to it, then I will be crippled. Fortunately, I haven't met any opponents so far who can threaten my life. The wisp of the gravity power remained the same. It can kill the third-order monster in a blink of an eye. But sadly, I had never used it against the fourth-order monster. The fourth-order monster was similar to the level 4 wizards. If I fight that fourth-order monster, then it will alarm certain bigwigs. From the Adventurer Union, I heard that level 5 wizards are monitoring the movements of fourth-order monsters. Word is that some fourth-order monsters are on verge of a breakthrough. If that happens, then that monster will become a fifth-order monster. The fifth-order monsters can easily command other monsters, which is a serious threat to the surrounding cities. So the Adventurer Union and other guilds were keeping an eye on the fourth-order monsters. So if I do some rash things, then it will expose my strength in front of others. Then dispelling the thoughts, I looked at the other details. My strength and other 3 attributes crossed the 100 mark, while other attributes reached level 2. My eyes condensed when my gaze fell on the constitution. The progression of the sacred gravity physique has been slow, but I'm fine with it. I want an equal rate of progression in all my attributes. Otherwise, it will become difficult to balance each other. Then retracting my thoughts, I decided to head back home. Lambertville. A huge luxurious villa located in the city situated far away from the Red City. The city is small and compact compared to the big Red City. Every high tower building in the city reveals a wealthy atmosphere. Not a single peasant can be seen on the road. Even the lowest earning labor exhibits a scholarly aura around him. People who know the city, they called it a dream city. The dream name is also derived from the common people living in surrounding areas. For them, it was their dream to send their talented seeds to the city. Such a city has many small, mid-sized and very few large-sized wizard families, including the one called the Lambert family, which is one of the large-sized families residing in this dream city. At this moment, inside the huge luxurious villa, the young master of the family is going to come out from his retreat. Right now in front of the practice room, the butler of the family is patiently waiting outside to receive the young master Frank. The butler was white-haired and dressed in a black tuxedo. From time to time, he looked at the closed-door room. Instead of worry, a trace of appreciation flashed in his eyes. Before retreating, the young master was hopeful of reaching the peak stage of level 1, the old butler grumbled to himself. But he was not worried, because he knows the family lord has given many resources to the young master, including the resources for level 2. It's just he hopes master comes out before the start of the year-end competition. There is only 1 week time before the start of the competition. He doesn't want the young master to miss it. When he was thinking, he felt some vibration from the door. The old butler turned around and immediately glanced at the door. The roots of this story extend from novel being origin. Creak! A silhouette walked out after opening the door. He is none other than Frank Lambert. After seeing his appearance, the old butler immediately walked up to him to greet him. Young master! Young master, the old butler repeated the title twice. A quick glint flashed in Frank's eyes. He knows the old butler won't come unless something important. Looking at the old butler, he asked, "Oh, what happened?" Hearing the old butler immediately told him about the year-end competition. It's good that I reached the peak level in time, Frank muttered to himself. But he immediately thought of his fellow competitors. Victoria, Danny, and Brent. I don't know how far these perverts have grown. His gleamed with a twinkle. No matter what level of resources he has access to in his family, he was still far behind compared to the 3 people before him. 3 of them also hail from a good background. He was not sure exact power of them. But after seeing theirs development so far, he knows 3 of them were not in shortage of resources. In some instances, he had felt that 3 of them were better than him. Then dispelling the thoughts, he asked the butler, "What about father and mother?" "Young master, they went for a business trip. But the lord has promised to return before the start of the competition," the old butler said in an apologetic tone. Frank's expression was gloomy for a while. Then he told the old butler to leave. He needs to take some time to adjust his strength. So he didn't mind other issues right now. The old butler exited without saying anything. Similarly, in another different city which is built near the river bank, a white silhouette is spending time at the edge of the river. The place where is she standing is very remote. Not many people visit this place as it is located quite far from the city gate. Most people tend to spend their leisure time talking with their friends at the edge of the river. For that specific wooden benches and chairs were built. But all of the infrastructures were built at the edge of the river, quite close to the city. Now the white silhouette is located quite far opposite the popular place. But this remote location was chosen by her. Right now the white silhouette is looking at the calm running water. The next second her temperament changed drastically. Her calm face turned to a frosty one as she pulls out her magic weapon. SSSHH. Her ice sword started to freeze the running water even before she used her ice magic. She tightly gripped her sword and made a fast slash at the running river. Ice slash, or cold word, came from her mouth. This is not a word but her ice attack spell. When she made the vertical slash, the ice magic instantly released from her sword. Boom! The powerful ice attacks collided with the running water. A terrible collision sound resonated throughout the area. Instead of flying debris, the area within the spell range was frozen, including the running water. The white silhouette is Victoria Shields. She wants to calculate how long the frozen water can withstand the power of the current. The frozen water was almost like a big ice block, blocking the running water flow. The streaming waters then continued to collide with a big ice block. Victoria's eyes gleamed with a twinkle as she saw no cracks appear in the ice blocks. Seeing that, she made an appropriate calculation in his heart. Then she used her magic to melt the ice block before deciding to return to the city. After dispelling her ice sword, she returned to her usual self. Her expression was no more frosty, but there is gentle calmness in her eyes. While walking along the road, she thought about her future. Unlike Frank, she has broken through level 2 long ago. Now she is carefully planning her plans. After this competition, I will graduate along with Brent and Danny. And not to forget that idiot Frank, she said to herself. Surprisingly, the image of Vincent Carey comes to her mind. Realizing that, her expression froze for a moment. Then next a bright smile spread on her face. I almost forget about him. After our graduation, he will most likely become the top-ranked wizard in our class, she thought to herself. She knows Frank has 1 more year to graduate. So this competition may be a learning experience for him. Not only 4 of them, but many old wizard students in the school will also graduate after the end of the competition. For some, the schooling is officially over. They can join their big academy officially. But for other mediocre wizards, their time limit was over. Without progression, they can't stay in school anymore. Lots of thoughts appeared in her mind. But she immediately recovered from it and thought about the competition. So far she wasn't able to win a single duel against Brent and Danny. This matter frustrates her a lot. So before graduating officially, she wants to do it one more time. She plans to challenge one of them in the competition. Those two wizards were like mountains pressing on her. Like others, she also has an extraordinary identity. So do the Brentdale and Danny Quinn. That's why she is not rude in front of them. But that doesn't mean that she was afraid of offending them. Before joining her organization, she wants to know where is her limit. So who could be the best opponent for her other than the top two wizards in her class? This time I'll make the opponent reveal his spells. A flash of determination appeared in her eyes. The next second, she immediately used her speed to move forward at breakneck speed. A couple of seconds later, she appears in front of the huge city. Back in the house? Beep. Looking at the notification, I immediately accessed the messages to read them. My eyes gleamed with twinkle when I saw it was a message from Mr. John Myers. After our last encounter, I somewhat understood his personality. He won't contact me unless there is something important. After reading the text message, I was even more sure. I have collected one weird meteor rock. If you need it urgently, you can reply to this message. Otherwise, I will give it to you later. Reading such a straightforward message, I cracked up a smile. Wow! One more weird meteor rock, then I will be invisible in the same rank. Doesn't matter whether it is a taboo class or others, I can crush anyone on the same level. Realizing that, I let out a small laugh. Ah ha ha. I know with my gravity magic can crush high-rank wizards. But my vision is limited. There are many wonders in this world. And many more taboo class wizards. Who knows? There might be wizards who can withstand my gravity pressure. So I'm not going to be overconfident. But one thing is certain, if I consume one more weird meteor rock, it doesn't matter how many talented seeds going to join in a special class. I can crush them all. Before that, I need to crush annoying people in the upcoming competition. Brentdale and Danny Quinn. A cold glint flashed in my eyes. Time passed in a blink of an eye. The top and bottom ranked wizards came out of their practice session. This time for the year-end competition, every wizard student was pumped up to watch. Finally, the day of the competition also came. On the day of the year-end competition, Carey residence? After walking out of the room, I walked downstairs to have breakfast. This time Mom, Dad and brother were waiting for me at the table. Seeing that, I immediately walked up to the dining table to sit. Brad Carey saw his son coming. He couldn't help but ask, I heard that the year-end competition is going to broadcast live on local channels. On top of it, there were dedicated streaming services to stream the event online. Sitting down, I proceed to eat. But before that, my father's words rang in my ears. Not only he but my brother and mother were also eager to listen to my answer. Cough. Dad, this time our school has indeed decided like that, I said with a smile. I wasn't surprised by my father's question. Because last time there was no operation. The event of wizards was held in secret. On top of it, Colin Sanders was the headmaster of the school last year. So I don't know whether he had a broad mind last year. But the headmaster Chester Nixon thought differently. He is not from an academic background. So his way of doing things was certainly different from the former headmasters of our school. On top of it, he also has the support of the school chairman behind him. Thinking about him, I sighed inwardly. In 1 year, the headmaster Chester brought the new unique class division to new heights. I guess, in future, there will be more students will join the unique class. On the other hand, Brad Carey was surprised to hear that. He thought his son will graduate next year. At that Vincent will too participate in the year-end competition. I don't know whether they will broadcast the event next year, he thought to himself. Mother Lila Carey's curiosity increased after hearing her son's answer. But due to a hectic work schedule, she can't watch the year-end competition live. Then she made up her mind to watch the event later when she had free time. Right next to her, Brian Carey was suspicious. He found his brother was way too different compared to a year ago. The distance between the two brothers getting further away. At first, Brian didn't realize it, but as time passed he started to notice these things. Ever since the awakening, his younger brother Vincent seemed different. Brian thought this might be an illusion sometimes. His younger brother always wanted to be a wizard. Since his wishes became true, his brother forget about everything else except his magic. On top of it, his brother has sub-taboo magic. So it's normal to act arrogantly. He would do the same if he was in his brother's place. But nowadays, Brian felt he was wrong all this time. Whenever he sees his younger brother's eyes, he felt like he was some jumping clown in front of his brother. Though his young brother has never treated him disrespectively. But as a wizard, he can see he was an ant in front of Vincent's eyes. And this feeling is getting more in the past few weeks, which also caused him to stay away from his younger brother. Brian even stopped complaining to mom and dad about Vincent. On the other hand, seeing that Brian was spacing out, Father Brad Carey called out his name. Brain, what happened? Oh, nothing, Dad. I was thinking about something else, Brian hurriedly replied, before he continues to eat the food. Father Brad Carey shook his head. He doesn't know what's happening with Brain. Since Brian is not willing to tell, he is going to compel him. Then the family continued to eat the food. At the same, a quick glint flashed in my eyes. Brother Brian's action was not hidden from my eyes. I can see his complex expression. This guy is thinking about me. Surprisingly, he stopped pestering me for the past few months, which also gave me peace of mind at home. And I stopped the idea of moving out of the house. My family don't know that I'm going to graduate after this competition. I decided to give them a surprise later. So this year-end competition is going to be my last competition in the school. Then dispelling the thoughts, I continued to eat. After a few minutes, I left home after completing the food. 20 minutes later, I reached our school. This time the school was crowded with people. I saw some old students in my class bring their families to the event. The entrance was crowded. Seeing that, I raised my eyebrows in confusion. Looking around, I saw all types of luxurious vehicles. I have to say, even some bottom-ranked wizards in my class have a rich background. I saw a green-haired boy in my class walking along with his rich parents. Seeing that, a wide smile spread on my face. Though he was ridiculed in his class, he always kept his calm and didn't retaliate back. Looks like he is one of those who is going to graduate this time. Realizing that, I sighed inwardly. Time flies. This time I don't know how many going to graduate. Other mediocre wizards will be thrown out this time. Then shaking my head, I walked forward to follow the queue. After a few minutes, I entered the school campus. The year-end starting time is around 10 a.m. So there is still some time left for propelling to pour in. Many wizard students came with their families to watch the tournament. So this time, the Star Battle platform was completely changed. New infrastructures were built. Thousands of seats were added this time. Thinking about it, I immediately followed the crowd. Brother Vincent? I heard someone calling out my name. Turning around, I saw Lucas Brad running towards me. What is surprising was he is not alone. Together with him, there were three others. Chrissy Hart, Bruce Hart and Mark Spear. A quick glint flashed in my eyes after seeing them. Lots of things have changed in the past few months, including the attitude of these three. They are not arrogant anymore. I found out they also distanced themselves from Liam Baker, which was out of expectation. Perhaps they think that I will be the top wizard next year. So they decided not to offend me. But they don't know that I'm going to graduate after this competition. Anyway, I'm planning to tell anyone. I didn't even tell Lucas Brad about this. By that time, Lucas Brad already walked in front of me. Brother Vincent, are you going to the Star Battle platform? Let's go together, Lucas Brad asked. In response, I nodded my head. I don't have a problem joining them. But I will leave after some time. I'll also have to participate in the competition. Soon, 5 of us are walking towards the Star Battle platform. Chrissy Hart's gaze fell on Vincent Carey from time to time. Seeing that, Vincent Carey didn't mind joining them. She sighed in relief. The other two, Bruce Hill and Mark Spears, silently followed along. Lucas, what about you? Have made up your mind? I asked Fatty while walking. It's not compulsory for everyone to participate. But I know he has improved greatly in recent months. But so far I haven't seen Fatty use his magic at all. So much so that he didn't even participate in our combat class. My eyes gleamed with twinkle when I think about it. On the other hand, Lucas Brad was embarrassed. He knew Brother Vincent has never seen him using his magic before. But for him, there is no need to participate in such a cutthroat competition. He is not lacking resources. On top of it, his organization is also not demanding anything from him. Because of it, he is taking his own time to level up. So looking at his brother Vincent, he replied, I know, brother, you want to witness my fight. But unfortunately, I didn't plan on fighting anyone. Then he let out a small sigh before looking at Vincent's expression. He saw a faint smile on his brother's Vincent face. Seeing that, he sighed inwardly. To be honest, Lucas Brad is looking forward to Vincent's duel instead. Both of them awakened on the same day. But he has seen Brother Vincent's magic first stand. Especially the sub-taboo magic gravity. He saw how the gravity power broke the bones of opponents. Recalling the old events in his mind, Lucas Brad couldn't help but feel terrified. The best examples were the three people behind him. The next second he couldn't help but decided to ask, "Brother Vincent, are you going to participate in the competition?" Lucas Brad asked. Hearing that, I replied, "Yes, I had already registered online." "Oh great," Lucas exclaimed in surprise. Not only he but the other three also heard the conversation. They were quite surprised by Vincent's words. Little Stargate High School. The Star Battle platform stadium started to fill in with people. Under the new renovation, the seating capacity was increased. This time the entire Wizard students can watch the duel with their parents. Apart from 4 different halls on each side of the stadium, a new white hall was built on top above the South Hall. At this time, the South Hall was occupied by the A-rank division people. Starting from Class A1 to Class A6, the teachers belonging to the A-rank division were all seated in their seats, while those students who are not participants occupied the stadium seats. The situation is similar with the North Hall. The B-rank division people occupied the North Hall. The West Hall was occupied by the C-rank division people and the East Hall was occupied by the D-rank division people. Time passed. After half an hour, the arena was almost half filled. It will be a matter of time before the rest of the seats were occupied by the people. At this time, inside the new building above the South Hall, all the management people were seated in their seats except 2 people. These 2 were starting at the entrance, where the wave of people started to come in. One of the people has an obese body. He is none other than the chairman of the school himself. Benjamin squinted his little eyes. He stared at the entrance before his gaze fell on the South Hall, the North Hall, and then the respective halls one by one. He appeared to be thoughtful because he knows that those hall buildings occupied a rank to D-rank division people. But the newly formed unique class division has no such space. To be honest, he was surprised by the development of the class. At first, he thought it will take 1 or 2 years before the unique class sets equal footing with others. But to his surprise, the new headmaster Chester Nixon has developed the class to such an extent that it's safe to say that now the unique class can contend with D-rank division people. Thinking about it, he let out a deep sigh before looking at the new headmaster Chester Nixon beside him. "Is there anyone who is going to participate in your class?" Benjamin asked solemnly. He asked casually but he is not expecting any answer. But the next second his jaws dropped after hearing Chester Nixon's answers. "Yeah, only 2 kids will participate this time," the headmaster Chester Nixon replied without many expressions on his face. But when he noticed the shocked expression of the chairman Benjamin, he realized the chairman has misunderstood him. Cough. Cough. "Chapman, you misunderstood me. These 2 people have the strength that can rival Wizard students from D class," Chester Nixon politely explained. He doesn't want any mishap to happen. Because Chester knows a lot of interest was riding on the elite class, such as a rank division. Not only as a unique class teacher but as a headmaster he knows a lot of things. So he is not stupid enough to let his students compete against wizards from the A-rank division. Rather, he wants them to compete against D-rank division people. It's an open secret that the D-rank division is filled with mediocre wizard students. Their talent is low and their future path is limited. That's why they were put into the D-rank division for their poor qualifications. But for people from outside, it will appear through all the rank divisions from A to D were similar. Rank division students were elite. B-rank division students were half elite. C-rank division students were average. And the final D-rank students were mediocre. After the awakening ceremony, students were put into a different divisions based on their classifications. Unfortunately, sometimes unique users are also put into the mediocre class. Fortunately, this changed after Chairman Benjamin's intervention. Looking at the smiling face of Benjamin, Chester Nixon has a feeling that Benjamin has seen the strong unique user in his life. Otherwise, he wouldn't have agreed to bring a lot of these changes. His eyes gleamed with twinkle when he thinks about it. Chairman Benjamin sighed in relief after hearing Chester Nixon's words. He didn't want to offend the elite class students. But he knows he had already gained some dissatisfaction due to the development of the unique class. But this can't be helped, because he knows as long as the unique wizard students can get suitable meditation methods then they won't be any different from normal wizards. And later any powerful organization is willing to recruit these people. Then his efforts will be paid off. So he doesn't want the life of unique wizard students to be wasted in his school. Then dispelling thoughts, Benjamin asked, "Oh, what do you think about the elite class?" He knows after this competition some of the elite students from the A-rank division will graduate. So he doesn't know who will become the next elite wizard student. Chester Nixon furrowed his eyebrows. To be honest, in his 1-year service, he didn't have much interaction with the A-rank division. apart from inspecting them from time to time. He had never intervened in anything. But that doesn't mean that he hadn't had any idea about the A-rank division students. Whenever he had time to go there, he used to visit their combat class. Because of it, he came to know a couple of names. Brent Dale, Danny Quinn, Victoria Shields, and Frank Lambert, he said. These 4 will graduate after this competition, Chester Nixon added further. Hearing that, a trace of apprehension appeared in Benjamin's eyes. He is not a stranger to these 4 names. For the past 3 years, these 4 people had strongly registered their existence as elite wizards. Not only them but the organizations behind them also terrified him. Fortunately, these people will graduate after this competition. When he realized that, he quickly recovered himself. Good, good. I'm looking forward to their duel, a Chairman Benjamin commented after saying good twice from his mouth. Chester Nixon laughed bitterly in his heart. Even though Chairman hasn't said anything, but he knows Benjamin was terrified of them. Not only the chairman but he too had a similar solemn expression when he thinks about them. Not because of their background and academy organization behind them. It's because on that day when he had used his inspection magic on them, he saw something which terrified him to the core. Especially the top 2 wizard students, namely Brent Dale and Danny Quinn. When he thinks about their magic, he couldn't help but shudder. After that experience, he stopped going there. But it was different with Victoria Shields and Frank Lambert. Those 2 had normal weapon-type magic. So he was not afraid of them. It's good that Brent Dale and Danny Quinn will graduate after this competition. When he was thinking, the other management staff behind them were having a conversation about the winner. Hey, what do you think? Is it Brent Dale or Danny Quinn? Who is going to be the final winner? I guess it's Brent Dale. He has an unbeaten record. TCK, I think it's Danny Quinn. He is not worse than Brent Dale. The conversation started to attract others' attention. Soon it fell on Chairman Benjamin's ears. Chairman Benjamin fell into contemplation after hearing the news. To be honest, the conversations intrigued him deeply. He had witnessed a few battles of them. Whether it's Brent Dale or Danny Quinn, he hadn't seen them using their magic before. He recalled the past few of their duels in his mind, where Brent Dale had broken the opponent with his oppression alone. Thinking about it, a curiosity filled in his heart. If he wants to, he can call his assistant to get their information from the office. But the headmaster of the school is standing beside him, so it would be rude to do that. So he let out a small laugh before asking, ha ha ha. Chester, what is the magic talent of those 2 kids? Chairman Benjamin. A quick glint flashed in Chester's eyes. He thought Chairman Benjamin was aware of them, but looks like he didn't know much about them. The next second, Chester observed other staff behind them. After seeing that everyone is busy talking among themselves, he then turned towards Chairman Benjamin. Chairman, are you serious? Didn't you know about their magic? Chester Nixon asked with a confused expression on his face. Hearing that, Chairman Benjamin was stunned. He slightly turned towards the new headmaster and commented, to be honest, this is the first time I'm actively involved in the school's affairs. Previously, apart from fulfilling the management's request, I didn't care about anything. But everything has changed after the former headmaster's blunder, a Chairman Benjamin said with a sigh. Hearing that, Chester Nixon let out a bitter smile on his face. Benjamin was already afraid of offending the top wizards. But if he knows that magic of those 2, I don't know what will he do, Chester Nixon thought to himself. Chester thought it would be better if the chairman sees it for himself during the duel. Chairman, you will know during their duel. So I don't want to break surprise for you, Chester Nixon said. Chairman Benjamin took a deep look at him before turning his gaze towards the stadium. Little Stargate High School. When we entered the Star Battle Arena, I saw the mass crowd of people. The wizard students came with their families to watch the event. This time the event is a bit special. The event is going to be streamed live. So I guess it attracted more attention this time. Shaking my head, I turned towards Fatty and said, okay, I'm going to the participants area. You guys can leave. Hearing that, Lucas Brad was stunned and realized that participants have a separate areas. He nodded in response, don't worry brother. I'll cheer you hardly. Saying that, he gave a huge thumbs up. At this time, Chrissy Hart also interjected by saying, Vincent, we will also cheer you from our side. Hearing that, I smiled. Then I nodded at them before walking towards the participant area. Seeing the disappearance back of Vincent Carey, Chrissy Hart turned towards Lucas Brad and asked, Lucas, what rank will Vincent reach this time? Bruce Hill and Mark Spears also perked up their ears to listen. In their opinion, Vincent Carey will reach 8th or 9th rank this time. Lucas Brad, who was watching the disappearing back of Vincent, suddenly turned towards the trio. To be honest, he has a vague feeling that brother Vincent will bring a surprise this time. But he doesn't know what is it going to be. Then looking at the trio, he said, let's wait and see. After saying that, he led the trio towards the spectators area. As brother Vincent just said, he needs to find a good spot to watch the competition in relaxation. With that, 4 of them immediately left the spot. On the other hand, I'm walking towards the participant area. The participant area is right below the South Hall. Seeing that, I raised my head to see the huge room above the spectator areas. This is not an amazing view. What is more amazing is that on top of the South Hall, there is one more room. I believe this room is specially built for higher-ups to watch the competition. When I realized that, a quick glint flashed in my eyes. Then dispelling the thoughts, I walked forward. After reaching the spectator area, I saw wizard students being divided. A rank division student sat alone on one side. Similarly, B rank wizard students are seated together. Then I saw the C rank and D rank students. Their numbers were low, but still, they chose not to mingle with others. Then suddenly, I saw 2 new people sitting in the corner. But different from others, they wore an S badge on the chest, which immediately drew my attention. S badge? Yes, it's the special class badge. These 2 were from a newly formed special class. And one of them is familiar to me. She participated in a previous Star Battle platform event. Interesting, I muttered to myself. Then after taking a glance at them, I walked towards the A-rank division area. When I walked past Class A2 students, 2 people immediately shouted my name. Brother Vincent? Vincent? Hearing that, I glanced at Class A2 students. Then I saw 2 familiar people, Timothy and Palmer. These 2, seeing them, I revealed a small smile on my face. After nodding at them, I walked up to our class section. All of the top 10 wizards in my class are seated in hierarchical order. Seeing that, a cold glint flashed in my eyes. Perceiving my gaze, Liam Baker turned towards me and gave a cold snort. Not only him, but I also observed others' reactions. By this time, everyone felt my presence. They all turned toward me, including the top 3 wizards. Brent Dale, Danny Quinn, and Victoria Shields. Brent Dale and Danny Quinn only took a glance at me before closing their eyes. Victoria looked at me with interest without showing many expressions on her face. But I can feel her eyes were filled with curiosity. Then my gaze fell on the nasty fellow, the 4th rank wizard Frank Lambert. This time he cracked a wild grin upon seeing me. Different people showed different reactions. After looking at everyone, I sat beside the 10 rank wizard. Liam Baker's rank has risen in recent months. He is now a 9th rank wizard. Except for the top 4, there were some changes in rankings. When I sat down comfortably, everyone retreated their gaze. This time, including me, only 11 people are going to participate in the competition. And other mid-ranked and bottom-ranked wizards abstained from participating in the competition. When I observed the Class A2 wizard students, a beautiful silhouette comes to mind. Some time ago, Adriana Rivers resigned from her job and went back to her native place. I wonder, what is she doing now? Fortunately, before going, she gave me her contact information. If there is time in future, I will contact her. Then I retraced my thoughts and observed the competition. Time passed. 1 hour later, the entire arena is filled with people. In 5 minutes, the competition will officially start. My eyes gleamed with twinkle when I saw the media people. I had never expected the operation to be this big. A faint smile rose on my face. 5 minutes later, a loud announcement was made. Hello everyone, welcome to our grand year-end competition. Thank you for your patience. The event officially starts now. When the announcement was finished, the crowd broke out in loud cheers. The announcement was short and sweet without much lengthy speech. Then my gaze fell on the duel stage, officially known Star Battle platform. The square-pattern duel stage was heavily protected from the outside. No one can enter inside except the participants. Above the battle platform, in the middle of the air, a holographic screen was showing the image of the participants. The first duel is going to be between the wizard students from the D-rank division. When the name was displayed, immediately those 2 students walked out and proceed to enter the ring. I wasn't surprised by the matchup. The elite wizard students are from a class, and it's known as a secret to everyone. And the battle of elite students will be held at last in such high-profile events. Suddenly, I saw the media people focusing on the contenders. The live streaming is started. There are dedicated holographic screens placed at different areas of the spectator area for live streaming. 4 of them were also placed on their side. But everyone here is used to seeing the duel stage directly. so none of us was looking at the projection screen. Seeing that, I turned my gaze towards the duel stage. When the two wizard students entered inside, they immediately stood opposite each other. Looking at them, I thought the duel will take some time to end, because both of the participants were at the same level. Unless one runs out of the man, the duel won't end easily. The next second, I saw a huge silver color screen begin to envelop the stage. A quick glint flashed in my eyes. This screen looks different than before. It looked like the screen was enhanced more this time for the competition. The silver screen prevents the attacks from falling outside, so the safety of the spectators was highly guaranteed. When the duel started, I saw one of them disappear from the spot, and the next second he started dashing towards the opponent directly. The speed was so fast that for low-level wizards it was impossible to follow him. Speed magic. Seeing that, I cracked up a smile. For me, the speed magic looks tasteless. For low-level wizards, it may look cool and all, but when it comes to higher levels, I don't know how far their speed magic will go. When a wizard breaks through a level, he will gain overall improvement, including speed. There are also rare relics available in this world which can improve the speed of the wizards, so anyone can contend against the speed wizards as long as they gain the necessary resources. The speed wizards are not special unless they got the terrifying talent to support it. A quick glint flashed in my eyes when I saw the other student. He was transformed into an earth golem. Earth elemental magic? No, it's more like transformation magic. But this wizard student has single transformation talent. So apart from earth golem, he can't transform into other forms. After realizing that, I cracked up a smile. But unfortunately, it's hard to find an advanced meditation method for golem transformation magic. Then I began to observe the duel. The speed wizard student couldn't able to break the defense of the earth golem. After a few clashes, he immediately retreated. Seeing that, I shook my head in disappointment. As expected, this duel will be decided when someone runs out of mana. The speed wizard has to come up with some other trick to break the defense of the earth golem wizard. But I feel the earth golem wizard will consume his mana more than the speed wizard. I hope he is not that stupid. If he continues to use the transformation magic, he will end up losing the duel. Little Stargate High School. The duel between the speed wizard and the earth golem wizard drew everyone's attention. But unfortunately, the duel is not going to yield any surprising result. When I saw that earth golem wizard continues to use his transformation, I revealed a bitter smile on my face. My previous assumption came true. The speed wizard is spot on. He intends to make the earth golem wizard consume more mana. The speed wizard continued to attack the earth golem wizard. Surprisingly, he didn't pull out any magical artifact to attack. Time passed. The duel came to an end after 1 hour. The earth golem wizard conceded defeat as he ran out of mana. As a result, the speed wizard was declared a winner. The crowd broke out in cheer when the result was announced. But for many, this duel wasn't that great. Especially when your prediction came true at the end of the duel. Not only me, but many wizards have also predicted the same result. I turned towards my classmates. I saw some of them shake their heads in disappointment. Then I saw the reaction of the wizard students from the D-rank division. Looking at their calm faces, I guess they weren't surprised by the result. I realized the other rank division also has a combat class like us, so it is normal for them to know about each other's combat strength. Then, dispelling the thoughts, I looked at the holographic screen to see who is going to come next. To be honest, the combat strength of wizard students from other divisions was pretty average. Even the hunters from the guild can perform better than these guys. I feel going to the wilderness for training should be made mandatory for everyone. Otherwise, the wizard students will fail to gain that much combat awareness. After a few seconds, the next matchup was displayed on the holographic screen. The duel was again between D-rank division wizards. I wasn't surprised by that because their participants are high in numbers compared to us. This time 2 female wizards entered the stage. Looking at their information, I raised my eyebrows in surprise. Because both were auxiliary wizards. They are non-combatant types. So I'm surprised by their participation. Not only me but a few of us were also surprised. Then I saw the D-rank wizards gossiping among themselves. Seeing that, a cold glint flashed in my eyes. Looks like both of them have a history and they want to solve it through this competition. Realizing that, I had black lines on my forehead. Today's event is streaming live online. But some people don't mind that. Shaking my head, I continued watching the duel. As expected, both are auxiliary wizards and now they have their magic artifacts in their hands. It's going to be boring, I grumbled. I saw many of my classmates already close their eyes. None of them was interested in watching this duel. Seeing that, I realized that the event will continue for a few days. If not for today's opening ceremony, many of us wouldn't have come. I guess from tomorrow onwards, the number of spectators will be reduced. It will most likely increase after Class A2's matchup. My eyes gleamed with twinkle when I connected all the dots. Finally, the duel came to an end half an hour later. After the duel between the two auxiliary wizards, the next matchup continued. The following duel was held between the D-rank division wizards. Time passed in a blink of an eye. The first day of the event came to an end when the clock hit 4 p.m. All of the duels have happened between the D-rank wizard students. Because of that, only a few of them are left in the D-rank division. Most likely, tomorrow is going to be the day for C-rank division students when the duel of the D-rank division is over. While walking out, I saw Fatty and others waiting for me outside of the Star Battle platform building. Upon seeing me, Fatty Lucas came to me and said, "Brother Vincent, today's fixture was a mess. I had expected a duel between elite wizards." Hearing that, I sneered inwardly, stupid. Why would anyone do something like that? The best is always saved for the last. Shaking my head, I replied to Fatty, "Do you want the event to end in one day?" A look of realization dawned upon Fatty after hearing my words. Then he shut his mouth and didn't ask me any questions. 5 of us walked towards the exit slowly. I saw the disappearing back of the top-ranked wizards. I guess they will not come tomorrow. A quick glint flashed in my eyes. Instead of coming here, should I rest at home? A thought rose in my heart, but the next second I dispelled it. Because I almost forgot about the existence of those 2 unique wizards. If everything goes well, then their duel will be held tomorrow. I slowly began to connect the dots. The combat prowess of the unique wizards is most likely similar to the wizard students from the D-rank division. So if I don't come tomorrow, I will miss their duel. Then I let out a deep sigh after making up my mind. It doesn't hurt to come here again tomorrow. Then I told Fatty about my decision. Hearing that he promised to accompany me. Not only us, but Chrissy Hart, Bruce Hill and Mark Spears also agreed to come here tomorrow. Hearing that, I didn't decline them. Then after walking out of the school, we parted ways. I went home directly. 20 minutes later, I walked into my house. Surprisingly, 3 of my family members were watching today's duel. Upon seeing me, Dad paused the duel before turning towards me. "The students from the D-rank division are weak," he said in a solemn tone. Mother also nodded upon hearing that. I wasn't surprised by the comment because my family knew about the class division of the school. I saw Brian's reaction, he didn't say anything. Cough. "Dad, the real duel will be held at last. The other divisions have participated to make up the numbers," I said with a small cough. Father Brad and Mother Lila looked at each other. Mother Lila asked, "Son, are you going to participate in the competition?" Hearing that, my heart skipped a beat. Looking at their faces, I saw how calm they were. Seeing that, I raised my eyebrows in confusion. Then I noticed something. Brian's gaze was fixed on the projection screen. Seeing that, I followed his gaze. Then I saw the video was paused. But it was paused right at the view of the participant area. Seeing that, I understood completely. I sat with my classmates. It can be seen on the screen. It will be a waste of time to hide anymore. Then looking at my parents, I replied, "Yes, I registered my name at the last moment. I want to gain some experience." Hearing that, both nodded their head in understanding. They thought their son would participate next year. But it was also good to gain some forehand experience. Mother Lila Carey was impressed by her young son's mentality. On the other hand, Brian woke up from his stupor. If he participates, then it will all become clear. Whether my assumption is real or not, Brian thought to himself. Brian made up his mind to skip his classes during his brother's duel. He wants to see his younger brother's power. Then Father Brad Carey commented, "Don't worry, you will gain a good place next year." Your dad is right. Don't be too hard on yourself, Mother Lila added further. I revealed a wry smile in my heart. If my family sees my true combat power, they will be scared SHT. After talking to them for a few more minutes, I walked up to my room. Creak. After shutting the door, I went to take a long bath. Then I changed into comfortable clothes a few minutes later. Then laying on the bed, I began to surf the net. I want to see the news of today's event. I don't know how the media people have covered our school's event. After searching our school's name, I immediately saw many articles pop up one by one. Seeing that, I saw a bright smile on my face. All the local broadcasting companies covered the news. Even I saw reporting of the event on some national news. The reach is much better than I thought. After witnessing such a boring duel earlier, my expectations plummeted. But right now, after seeing such a good response, hope was rekindled in my heart. Maybe the duel between D-rank wizards seemed boring to us. But for regular humans, it is different. Even a small amount of mana can kill regular humans. So after seeing the duel between the Speed Wizards and Earth Golem Wizard, it was normal for regular humans to get awed. No wonder the first day of the year-end competition has managed to get much traction. This also made me look forward to the day of my duel. The following day, Brother Vincent, what do you think about the matchup? Fatty Lucas asked. Yesterday's group now were joined together. We were walking towards the Star Battle platform arena. But Fatty's words made me frown. I knew about Fatty's information-gathering capacity. Did something happen? Various doubts appeared in my mind, but I quickly covered them up and asked back, what do you mean? Hearing that stern voice, Fatty's heart skipped a beat. He hurriedly replied, Brother, don't get me wrong. But don't you think the matchups were already fixed? The D-rank division wizards are going to fight against their people. It is similar with other divisions also, a Fatty added further. Hearing that, I raised my eyebrows. I understand what he wants to say. But if they allow A-rank or B-rank wizard students to fight against C-rank or D-rank, then it's a bit overkill. And the event will end in one whole day. Thinking about it, I sighed. But then again, this was the same topic discussed by us yesterday. Then why does he bring this up now? I squinted my eyes and looked at Fatty Lucas. I said, I don't know. It's up to the school management. At the end of the day, the decision lies with them. Then shaking my head, I stride forward. Wall has ears, so it is better not to discuss something like this again. Chrissy Hart stepped forward to remind Lucas Brad. After saying that, she hurriedly followed behind Vincent Carey. Lucas Brad was dumbfounded for a moment. The reason he had decided to raise this topic? Because he heard some rumors recently. But he doesn't know whether it is true or not. So he hurriedly rushed forward to remind Brother Vincent. If the rumor is true, then it will be immensely helpful for Brother Vincent. Thinking that, he shouted, Brother, wait, I have something to tell you. On the other hand, when I walked past a few people, I heard Fatty's desperate voice behind me. Immediately, a quick glint flashed in my eyes. My guess is true, he knows something. Realizing that, I stopped my footsteps and waited for Fatty to reach me. After a couple of seconds, Lucas successfully came dragging his fat body. Brother, you are cruel, he said with a bitter smile on his face. Chrissy Hart gave a cold snort in her heart. She feels Lucas is taking away her chances to strike upon Vincent Carey. Bruce Hill and Mark Spear had a black line on their forehead. They don't know why this thorny rose had changed her temperament. She doesn't like to talk about Liam Baker anymore. Bruce Hill quickly guessed it. When he realized that he wanted to cry without tears. In his opinion, Chrissy wants to hold Vincent's thigh. She had ditched Liam Baker's group. Bruce Hill let out a bitter laugh in his heart. At first, they tagged along with Vincent because they wanted their earlier feud to end. Bruce thought after some apology their days would be returning to usual. But recently he can't read Chrissy's mind at all. Everything is going in a new direction. He doesn't know what that guy, Liam, will do. If he knows about their actions. Shaking his head, he looked at Mark who was standing beside him. Mark is simpler than him. He doesn't think much. On the other hand, seeing Fatty gasping for breath. All right, can you tell me what's bothering you? I asked in a solemn tone. Without waiting for Lucas to open his mouth, I dragged him towards the secluded area. Right now, people are entering the area. It will take at least 1 hour for the whole area to be occupied by people. Chrissy Hart's face sank. She bit her lips and didn't say anything. Bruce and Mark looked at each. Their purpose was long since over, but because of Chrissy, they are still sticking to Vincent Carey. On the other hand, Fatty Lucas recovered to his usual. His expression condensed before talking about this rumor. Brother, I heard there is a wizard student in the C-rank division. Rumor is that he can burn his blood to quickly raise his strength. If that happens, his strength is no worse than B-rank division wizards, a Lucas Brad said in a solemn tone. My eyes gleamed with twinkle when I hear that. Burning one's own blood to improve strength is not a new concept. There are several options available for it like banned potion and other drugs. But they are banned across the country. But if it's an awakened magic power, then it's different. Usually such methods come up with severe side effects. I don't know who that C-rank wizard student is. If I can learn his name, I can use the probe function to see the truth. As this thought rose in my heart, I immediately looked at Fatty and asked, do you know the name of the person? Lucas' brother shook his head before saying, Brother, as I said, there are rumors like this surfacing. Some say that wizard students from B-rank division. But I don't believe the second version. Hearing that, I sighed inwardly. Like Fatty said, the person has to be from the C-rank division. If he was from the B-rank division, then his strength can rival A-rank division wizards. Which is absurd in my opinion. But nothing can be said now. Unless I see the truth through the probe function of the system. Alright, let's go. We can see it for ourselves eventually, I commented. Then without waiting for the other three to join, I walked with a fatty. After entering the huge arena, we parted ways. Like yesterday, I went to the participant area to join my class. Surprisingly, this time I'm the first one to come here. Seeing those absent seats, I immediately thought about yesterday's boring duel. I had expected some of them to come here. But instead, I'm the lonely one standing here. Shaking my head, I walked forward to sit down. Time passed. After 1 hour, the whole area is filled with people, which brought me a huge surprise. Is it because of the live telecast? Normally, no one should be interested in watching this boring duel. Even I came here today because of the unique magic users from the special class. If not for them, I would be taking a similar rest at home. But surprisingly many people came here today to watch the duel. Then I dispelled the thoughts and waited for the holographic screen to show today's matchup. From time to time, I felt a lot of gazes on me. Including the media, they are showing my face because I'm the only one seated in the A-rank division area. Thinking about it, I revealed a bitter smile on my face. Soon the name of the next participants was revealed. 2 people from the D-rank division stood up and walked towards the Star Battle platform stage. Seeing that, I patiently waited for their duel to end. Time passed. One by one, the number of wizard students from the D-rank division started to decrease. When everyone participated from the D-rank division. Next, the rank duel was conducted for the winners. Seeing that, I raised my eyebrows in surprise. I assumed they would conduct the ranking duels on the last day. But surprisingly, new developments were taking place. Looks like the management has decided to select a winner from each division. But my gaze fell on the 2 unique magic users. If this goes on, what will they do? Various thoughts appeared in my mind. Time passed. After 2 hours, the final winner from the D-rank division emerged as a winner. Miley Reese is a female mutated flower wizard. After taking one look at her status, I sighed inwardly. Her attributes were fine except for mediocre talent. If not for her weak talent, there wouldn't have been any problem for her to join the A-rank division. But it's a pity, I grumbled to myself. When I thought about it, it was over. A new announcement was made all of a sudden. Congratulations to Miley Reese for her win. A new challenge is now issued against Miley Reese. Challenger name, Eric Marsh. Class, special class. The challenge is mandatory. If you lose or deny, the D-rank winner title will be obtained by the challenger. The challenge duel will be held after the completion of C-rank division duels. Gasp! A loud exclamation reverberated throughout the arena. Miley Reese's expression darkened. She has just won now. She thought that announcement was made to give her rewards. But surprisingly, the trash wizard from the special class issued her a direct challenge. What is going on? She thought to herself. But suddenly she found the limelight was too high. The media people continued to show her reaction on the holographic screen. Realizing that, she hurriedly left the stage and decided to find her class teacher. Participants area. I became speechless for a second after hearing the following announcements. Not only me, the announcements sent a shockwave across the arena. Eric Marsh, my gaze fell on a brown-haired wizard the next second. Little Stargate High School. Spectators were stunned inside the Star Battle platform arena. Some were confused, but slowly everyone started to realize, apart from the 4 divisions of the school, there is one extra division that was added to the school. 2 new students from the special class division were registered for this competition. Eric Marsh's name is shown on the screen. This cleared the confusion among the people. And some media houses started to cover what's good about the new special division. Inside the new viewing room. Ha ha ha, Chairman Benjamin burst into joyful laughter. One of the reasons is that he made this event stream online. Because of the new special class. After seeing Eric Marsh's challenge, he is quite sure that the new class will receive great attention from the public. Chairman Benjamin also believes that this move will attract a lot more students to his school next year. And slowly, in a few years, the strength of the new class will be similar to other divisions. When he realized that, he cracked a wide grin. Beside him, the headmaster Chester Nixon was also satisfied after seeing the crowd's response. But unlike the Chairman Benjamin, his expectations were more. He wants Eric Marsh to defeat the D-rank winner Miley Reese. If this happens, this will further increase the reputation of the special class. These thoughts were buried in his heart and didn't discuss them with Chairman Benjamin. He wants Chairman Benjamin to witness the surprise himself. Participants area. Seeing the silent brown-haired student, my eyes gleamed with a twinkle. System, probe Eric Marsh's status. I instructed the system mind. Ding. The host's voice is recognized. Ding. The command is executed. Status panel. Target's name Eric Marsh. Magic power human stove. Mage level 1 limiter. Talent middle low. Color pale green. Strength 45. Speed 43. Stamina 42. Vitality 43. Intelligence 23. Soul power 21. Constitution 22. Mana power minus 24. Core status 36%. Spells 2. 1. Blood Fist 2. Blood burning. Mental method, blood burning art, middle grade method. A wide status panel appeared in front of my eyes. Immediately my gaze fell on the talent. Human stove, my eyes widened in surprise. This talent appears to be a variant of a physique wizard. Then I quickly looked into other details. His attributes were stronger than I had expected. On top of it, his core development has reached 36. To be honest, he can easily join the A-rank division or at least be ranked division if not for his unique talent, Human Stove. But when I looked at his spells and mental method again, I don't know why. I feel he seems to be more in line with the person mentioned by Fatty. A person who can raise his own strength by burning blood. I became more suspicious of him after knowing Eric Marsh's second spell, Blood Burning. I have a vague feeling in my heart that he is that person. But what is more surprising is that he doesn't have to use his second spell to defeat Miley Reese, because his normal attributes had already surpassed hers. A quick glint flashed in my eyes when I realized that. I'm looking forward to his duel. I can't believe our new headmaster had found another gem beside that girl. But it is a pity, Eric Marsh has only a middle grade method. It is one of the drawbacks of being a special user. It is very hard to come across a suitable higher rank method. Eric can reach a level -3 rank with his middle grade method. But above level 3 rank is very doubtful. Then after dispelling the panel, I sighed inwardly. I'm glad that for my gravitational power there are no such disadvantages. There are already predecessors in history who had walked the path of gravity magic. Otherwise, I wouldn't have gotten the gravity arc method. Then retracting my thoughts, I looked at Eric Marsh. If not for me, Eric would have been a dark horse in the tournament. Time passed. The duels for the C-rank division are going smoothly. Compared to the D-rank division, the wizards of the C-rank division were much better. Though the talents of C-rank division students were mediocre, compared to the trash talents of D-rank division, it is fine. One by one, the duels of the C-rank division are coming to an end. Finally, after a few hours, it's time for the ranking duel. Looking at the duels, I felt much better. This time the duels were way better compared to the last day. Seeing that it is going to be a ranking duel in a few seconds, my gaze slightly fell on Miley Reese. After the declaration of the C-rank division title winner, the challenge duel will officially start. I saw not only me but the media houses were also covering 2 of them. Seeing that, a wide smile spread on my face. Time passed in a blink of an eye. Finally, the last match of the ranking duels. Seeing that, a quick glint flashed in my eyes. Because both of the final contenders were weapon-type wizards. One has a short iron sword and the other one has an iron broadsword. What's more amazing is that both had similar strengths. And their swords were iron type. I don't know who will emerge as a winner. When the duel started, both began to charge against each other. Clang clang. A metallic collision sound resonated throughout the area. Both the wizards clashed against each other fiercely. Their collision caused huge sparks to spread around the duel stage. Fortunately, the silver screen protected everyone from the sparks. Slashing, stabbing, vertical cut, horizontal cut. Both wizards tried many moves, but both of them seemed as equal to the other. This will again lead to a similar situation, where the loser will run out of mana eventually. Seeing that, I revealed a bitter smile on my face. Both of them were good. But I feel the one with the long sword will emerge as a winner. His name is Tom Baltimore. Tom Baltimore seems to relax while using his attack-type weapon longsword. I doubt he has consumed excessive mana. The next second, I decided to check using the probe function. When I saw his status panel, I'm amazed to see that he didn't have that much consumption. I revealed a small smile on my face. The result is already clear. It will be a matter of time before Tom Baltimore is declared a winner. Time passed in a blink of an eye. After 20 minutes, the final announcement was made. Tom Baltimore was declared a C-rank division title winner. Congratulations to Tom Baltimore for his win. The next duel is between Miley Reese and Eric Marsh. When the announcement was made, the crowd broke out in loud cheers. Seeing that, I don't know whether everyone is cheering for the winner or they are looking forward to the next duel. But I'm looking forward to seeing whether the rumor mentioned by Fatty is going to be true or not. The fighting stage. Right after the announcement, Miley Reese entered the stage with a dark expression. Earlier, she asked her class teacher about the situation. But unfortunately, her teacher is as helpless as she was. She has no other choice but to face the trash opponent Eric Marsh. Fortunately, in these few hours, she recovered to her peak state. She didn't mind going against one more opponent now. She stood at one end of the stage and waited for her opponent to enter. After a couple of seconds, Eric Marsh entered the duel stage without any expressions on his face. Seeing that, Miley stood on the opposite side and he chose the other end. He remembered the advice of the class teacher, who is none other than the current headmaster of the school, Chester Nixon. Teacher wanted me to win this duel no matter what, Eric Marsh thought to himself. He has seen the previous duels of Miley Reese. In his opinion, she is not that strong. He can easily defeat her without having to use the second spell at all. On the other hand, feeling the gaze of Eric, Miley Reese immediately gave a cold snort, a harumph. I will thrash you out in a minute, her eyes gleamed with a cold glint. Inside the new viewing room, Chester Nixon's eyes gleamed with expectation. At this moment, he felt all other eyes on him. Inside the room, the management people were seated. Including the chairman, everyone has pinned high hopes on the new special class. He just hopes everything goes according to plan. As far as he knows, Miley Reese won't be able to withstand the attack from Eric Marsh. But like Eric, he too doesn't want Eric to use his second spell. It would be much better if Eric finished the duel as soon as possible. Seeing him spacing out, Chairman Benjamin asked, "Oh, what are you thinking?" It's nothing," Chester Nixon said. Chairman Benjamin then shifted his gaze towards the duel stage. He has very little expectation for this duel. He just hopes that a kid named Eric will stick much longer inside the duel stage. Little Stargate High School. When the duel started, Miley Reese made her first move. Blue color petals appeared out of thin air and flew towards Eric Marsh. As a mutated flower wizard, she controlled the speed of the petals as fast as she could. She wanted the petals to drill holes in Eric Marsh's body. He's just a trash wizard. This move will be enough to make him bedridden for months. She looked at Eric with a triumphant smile on her face. On the other hand, Eric Marsh's eyes gleamed with a twinkle. He has seen this spell of her earlier. So he knew what to do now. When the blue color petals reached him, he evaded those attacks one by one using his speed. This all happened in a blink of an eye. Miley Reese widened her eyes in surprise. So far, none of her previous opponents remained unscathed from this petal attack. But this trash wizard has managed to dodge this attack somehow. She is not dumb, her brain worked fast and she realized something. She might have underestimated the opponent. He is stronger than her classmates. When she saw through the key points, her expression condensed. Right now, she won't want to use her second spell and strangled hastily. Eric Marsh saw that the opponent didn't continue the attack anymore. This pause made the atmosphere remain pin-drop silent. Like Miley Reese, the audience was also curious about Eric Marsh's power. A quick glint flashed in Eric's eyes when he realized that his opponent was waiting for him to make a move. Realizing that he didn't get worried, he decided to end the match himself. Whoosh! Eric Marsh dashed towards the opponent at full speed. His attribute was higher than Miley Reese's, so he is not worried about her second spell. Gasp! The audience broke out in cheer. They want to see what a wizard student from a special class is going to do. Miley Reese became alert when she saw the opponent rushing towards her. When the distance between them narrowed, she immediately cast her second spell. And strangle. Green vines released from her hands moved towards the incoming opponent. If not careful, the pointy edge of the vines may pierce through the opponent. Seeing her second spell, the audience cheered more. Eric Marsh revealed a small smile on his face. When the vines reached 1 foot before him, he immediately sidestepped to evade. The next second, one more vine dashed towards him. Seeing that, he immediately decided to evade. But it was too late, the vine stabbed his forearm. Red blood was sprayed all over the ground. Gasp! The crowd exclaimed in surprise. The vine's speed was too fast. It was impossible to evade close quarters. Miley Reese's cold face revealed a triumphant smile. She knew no one could escape her green vines. Everyone is wondering, what is this kid from the special class up to? Inside the new viewing area? A couple of seconds ago, Eric Marsh can evade those attacks, a Chairman Benjamin grumbled. Looks like his attributes were not weak, he said to the new headmaster who was standing beside him. Not only he, everyone in this room with discerning eyes can see. The strength of Eric Marsh is not weaker than D-rank wizards. The headmaster Chester Nixon revealed a bright smile on his face. This is what he wanted earlier. He wanted Chairman Benjamin to be surprised by his two students. Virgora. Chairman, I have told you earlier. These two little brats were good, Chester Nixon said with a laugh. Chairman Benjamin didn't say anything, but when he saw Miley Reese's vines manage to cause injury. Looks like this is the end, he muttered to himself. Chester Nixon laughed in his heart. He saw no one cared about Eric Marsh's magic. If they knew, then their reaction would have been different for sure. He easily saw through Eric Marsh's intentions. Eric can only defeat the opponent at a close quarter. In order not to alert the opponent, he didn't reveal his spell. After figuring out everything, a look of appreciation flashed in his eyes. The duel stage. Eric saw the gleeful smile on her face. He understood she was underestimating him. Using this opportunity, he charged towards her. Due to his sudden movement, Miley got startled and retracted her vines to make another attack. She thought he would concede defeat after that blow. When he reached closer, he wasted no time in casting his first spell. Blood Fist, erasing right his fist, he yelled the word. The next moment, his fist enlarged twice in size. What is more surprising is that his fist changed into red blood color. Now the red blood first appeared to be the fist of a small giant. Eric Marsh immediately moved his fist to attack her. Miley Reese's face sank. She doesn't know what type of magic is it? But her instincts warned her not to let the blood fist hit her. She immediately moved her vines to wrap around the huge fist. When the vines wrapped around the red fist, the next moment the vines weren't able to withstand the blood power, which caused them to break one by one. Seeing the failure of the attack, Miley Reese's expression darkened. What kind of magic is that? She said to herself. She felt her opponent may be a power-type mage. Other than that, she couldn't think of anything else for that monstrous strength. When she decided to retreat, her expression became pale with fright. The blood-red fist came right before her eyes before smashing at her abdomen. Boom! The impact force made her body crash into the barrier. Puff! Miley Reese coughed up blood before she lost consciousness. Thud! When her body dropped onto the ground. The winner was declared at the moment. Congratulations to Eric Marsh for your win. Would you like to challenge Tom Baltimore next? Yes, Eric Marsh said in a firm tone. Gasp! The crowd gasped. Everyone was amazed by Eric Marsh's gigantic fist. From the normal audience to media houses, everyone is wondering about Eric Marsh's magic talent. But now that he had made another formal challenge, everyone is looking forward to the duel. At the participants' area, Tom Baltimore's face sank after seeing the unconscious body of Miley Reese. Then he almost lost his cool when Eric challenged him. Where did this peasant come from? His eyes flashed in cold, ruthless glint. He is quietly looking forward to challenging the B-rank division wizards. But right now seeing someone challenge him, his heart boiled in anger. But fortunately, the next announcement calmed down his heart. The duel between Eric Marsh and Tom Baltimore will be held right after B-rank division duels. Harumph! Tom gave a cold snort after hearing the announcement. The duel stage. The barrier was lifted and Eric Marsh walked out off the stage after the announcement. Before going to the participants' area, he raised his head and looked at the viewing block. He knows his teacher and management people were inside this new building. Then Miley Reese was picked up by standby healers. They immediately shifted her to the clinic for treatment. Inside the new viewing room, a couple of minutes ago when Eric Marsh released his first spell, Chairman Benjamin's eyes flickered with interest. The blood-red fist immediately drew his attention. When he saw Miley Reese fainted directly from the blow, he got from the seat and asked, is he a power-type wizard or what? He didn't even look at Chester Nixon, but everyone knows this question was raised to him. On the other hand, seeing that his students have won, Chester Nixon let go of his hanging heart. Now the statement was made. Hereafter no one will question the implementation of the special class curriculum. Then he saw the shock on Chairman Benjamin's face. He revealed a small smile before replying, he is not a power-type wizard but a variant. Gasp! The people inside the room exclaimed in surprise. Chairman Benjamin uttered, quiet. The next second, the room quieted down suddenly. Chairman Benjamin turned around and looked at everyone before his gaze fell on Chester Nixon. I don't understand. If he is a variant, then he should be at C rank or B rank division, Chairman Benjamin said. How can he become a unique user? He asked. Chester Nixon wasn't surprised by the question. He decided to explain calmly. Chairman, Eric Marsh's magic is the human stove. It's a variant of the physique. But it's different from power-type wizards, Chester Nixon said in a solemn tone. Human stove, a chairman Benjamin's eyes gleamed with a twinkle. From these words alone he can guess something. But he waited for Chester Nixon to reveal more. Yes, human stove. Eric Marsh's strength comes from his blood. As long as he can improve his blood, his strength will be increased, Chester Nixon said. Then he continued to say, and also he can double his strength by burning up his blood. When he finished those words, everyone felt they were struck by thunder. Chairman Benjamin White opened his mouth in surprise. A what? Little Stargate High School. Inside the new viewing block, everyone was shocked by Chester Nixon's words. Wizard student Eric can raise his strength by burning up his blood. What does it mean? The management staff couldn't help but look at their new headmaster Chester Nixon. On the other hand, Chairman Benjamin was truly shocked to the core. Eric's talent seems more powerful than a power-type mage. Now he understands why the kid was included in a special class. But still, there are many doubts in his heart. Like what are the side effects and all? He saw there will be a matter of time before the start of B-rank division duels. So he decided to ask the headmaster later. When the duel was started, everyone quieted down and began to watch the ongoing duel. Seeing that, Chester Nixon sighed inwardly. He doesn't want to get bombarded with questions right now. It's hard to clear people's curiosity at this moment. But fortunately, the ongoing duel drew everyone's attention. Compared to the D and C ranks, the duels of the B and A ranks were much more important to this school. After realizing it, he dispelled the old thoughts and began to watch the duel. Time passed. After a few duels, the session came to an end. The remaining duels will be continued tomorrow. Slowly, people began to exit the arena. From MC's perspective, seeing that today's duel was over, I stood up and walked towards the exit. When I walked past others, I glanced at Eric Marsh. As I had expected, he was the rumored one. Nobody knows about the significance of the second spell, because Eric had finished his duel with one spell. I have to say, it will be too bad for Tom Baltimore to face him tomorrow. Everyone is underestimating Eric Marsh. I can't wait to see the shocked expression of the people and classmates. Thinking about my classmates, I cracked a wide grin. I'm sure today's duel will be enough to draw their attention. On top of it, B-rank wizards were not trash. So their duels will be much more interesting than the previous one. So I have a vague guess in my heart that tomorrow the participant area will be filled with people. Then shaking my head slightly, I exit the building. When I walked out, I found Fatty Lucas with the other three. I walked up to them and asked, "Did you see it?" My voice was not loud, but it was heard by all four of them. Without waiting for them to speak, I started walking towards the school exit. I don't know whether it is okay to tell them about Eric Marsh. Lucas Brad hurriedly followed behind and asked, "Brother Vincent, what do you mean?" Fatty Lucas was perplexed. It was rare for Brother Vincent to take initiative to talk. That's why he was stunned for a moment. What do you think about Eric Marsh's duel?" I asked. Chrissy Hart, Bruce Hill and Mark Spear also perked up their ears. Lucas Brad furrowed his eyebrows in confusion. The appearance of Eric Marsh was unexpected. On top of it, he wanted to secure a comfortable win. What's more surprising? Right after the duel, he challenged Tom Baltimore. Lots of crazy unexpected things happened. Lucas didn't answer right away. Rather, he looked at Vincent Carey. He doesn't know why Brother Vincent is interested in Eric Marsh. So Lucas thought for a moment before replying, "I guess it must be our headmaster behind them, because he is also the class teacher of their class." At this time, Chrissy Hart interjected by saying, "Our headmaster might have given him some potions. Otherwise, he wouldn't have burst out with such crazy strength." A quick glint flashed in my eyes when I heard that. Now I realize these people don't know about Eric Marsh's magic. Human stove. His power output may seem like it was the result of potions. Then dispelling the thoughts, I turned around and faced Chrissy Hart and others. I don't know what three of them were planning to do. Looking at the sudden reaction of Vincent Carey, Chrissy Hart and others were stunned. They don't know why Vincent is looking at them. "Vincent!" Chrissy Hart called out in hesitation. I let out a small sigh and said, "What are you guys planning to do?" "I guess Liam will be back tomorrow," I added further. Three of them somehow managed to escape from the eyes of Liam Baker. But I don't think it will be the same tomorrow if three of them continue to stick around me. Chrissy Hart's face sank. She looked at her two members. She doesn't know what to say at this moment. To be honest, she didn't want to join Liam Baker again. Lucas Brad thought about something and added, "I heard these days he has been practicing hard. So he didn't have time to look into other matters." After saying that, he looked at Chrissy Hart and others. On the other hand, looking at them, I furrowed my eyebrows in displeasure. I saw a few of the students looking at us. Our presence instantly drew the attention of others. I saw the media people packing up their kits. Seeing that, I decided to leave. All right, I'm leaving. You can do whatever you want, I said. After saying that, I turned around to leave. Then after parting ways with Fatty, I went home. 20 minutes later, I reached home. This time there is no drama in the house. Both of my parents have gone for the night shift. My older brother is yet to come from his academy. Seeing that, I walked upstairs towards my room. Creak. After entering inside, I decided to take a long bath. Then I changed into comfortable clothes a couple of minutes later. Like usual, I immediately surfed the net to see the trending topic. Then I saw the name of our school currently trending online. Seeing that, I clicked the headline to read further. The appearance of new dark horse Eric Marsh. A special class for unique magic users. What is unique magic? Likewise, I saw several articles related to our event. Seeing that, my eyes gleamed with a twinkle. This time the viewership increased in large numbers compared to the last day. Slowly, a small expectation rose in my heart. I hope that Eric Marsh will surprise the crowd with the second spell tomorrow. Then dispelling the thoughts, I began to go through other breaking news. After 20 minutes, I felt a small surge inside my core. I immediately knew my core progression was going to increase. Then I immediately sat cross-legged and began to meditate. Soon I started to practice the gravity arc method and started absorbing the mana from the surroundings. After a couple of seconds, I felt some improvement in strength. To make sure, I decided to see my status panel. System, show my status panel, I said to the system. Ding! The host's command is recognized. Ding! Level up system, 1.1 is ready. Status panel. Host's name, Vincent Carey. Magic power, gravity. Mage level 1 limiter. 6 months remain to level up. Mental method, gravity arc, running. Grade, earth. Running mode, automatic. Rate of absorption, 80%. Gravity core status, 44%, progressing. 5.5%/month. Sacred core formless. Mana power, 700. Mana capacity, 700. Talent, top bottom, upgradable. Color pale orange. Strength, 75. Speed, 76. Stamina, 77. Vitality, 100. Limit has been reached. Intelligence, 50. Limit has been reached. Soul power, 50. Limit has been reached. Constitution, 50. Limit has been reached. Sacred gravité physique, 1.5%. Mental power, 50. Limit has been reached. Spells, 3. 1. Gravity field, 2. Gravity push, 3. Gravity pull. Slots filled, 3. Title, Lord of the Gregor Mansion. Storage space items, the Gregor Mansion, magic artifact herbs, potions and tattered spell books, etc. A wide status panel appeared in front of my eyes. Seeing my core progression, my lips curved into a smile. I felt an immediate improvement in my constitution. It will be a matter of time before I reach level 2. But I don't know whether I can do it before joining the Yellow River Academy. Thinking about the Yellow River Academy, a trace of apprehension appeared in my eyes. A couple of weeks ago, I was looking forward to the day of joining. Yet right now, as the days get closer, I don't know why, but I feel a sense of urgency in my heart. If I do normal meditation, it won't help. I need to meditate inside the mana chamber. After pondering for a couple of minutes, I decided to visit the Claudia gym tomorrow after school. I need to speed up my core progression, I sighed inwardly. Then my gaze fell on the progression rate of sacred gravity physique. No wonder, I felt a sudden improvement in my strength, I grumbled. I'm also quietly looking forward to the benefits of having the sacred gravity physique. Then dispelling the panel, I continued to meditate. The following day, I saw the crowd was large in numbers. I wasn't surprised by that, because today is going to be the duel of the B-rank division. When I was thinking about entering the arena, I sensed a cold gaze on my back. Turning around, I saw Liam Baker. He is staring at me. Then a look of realization dawned upon me. Did he find out about Chrissy Hart and others? I grumbled. The next second, I saw him walking towards me. I never thought you would steal my friends away from me, Liam Baker said in a cold tone. Hearing that I had black lines on my forehead. From the very beginning, I had detested that trio. So this guy had misunderstood me. Shaking my head, I asked, "Oh, what are you talking about?" "Harumph, don't act like you don't know." After replying that, he walked past me. Seeing that, a cold glint flashed in my eyes. This guy better not have any crooked thoughts against me. Otherwise, I won't hesitate to commit another murder before graduating from this school. Then after dispelling the thoughts, I waited outside the Star Battle Arena. Usually Fatty Lucas would arrive before me. But this time he was late. I saw students continue to walk past me. Some of them recognized me before entering the arena. Soon, I saw the blue silhouette. When the silhouette was closer, I immediately recognized the person. He was none other than Lucas Brad. Seeing that, I smiled. Then I found that he was alone. Not with Chrissy Hart, Bruce Hill and Mark Spear. I wasn't surprised after witnessing Liam Baker's attitude. He must have done something. When Fatty came closer, I observed his expression. His face was a little gloomy. I asked, what happened? Brother Vincent, Chrissy Hart and his friends were attacked by Liam Baker last night. They were severely injured. It's doubtful whether they're gonna participate in our division duels, Lucas Brad said with a saddened expression on his face. Though his first meeting with Chrissy Hart and others was not good. But for the past few weeks, he had enjoyed their company. Right after hearing such bad news, he couldn't help but hope that Vincent will help them. Because he was powerless to do anything against Liam Baker. A quick glint flashes in my eyes. But the next second, I let out a deep sigh. I had already warned them about this. But the trio had acted on their own. Now that they have suffered, they can only blame themselves. Then I asked, looking at the fatty, how bad was their injury? I just hoped that they didn't suffer life-threatening injuries. Lucas Brad said with a sigh, brother, there was no life-threatening injury. But it will take some time for them to get discharged from the hospital. Hearing that, I nodded in understanding. Then looking at the surroundings, I said, all right, let's go inside. Lucas Brad wanted to say something. But in the end, he closed his mouth. He saw the attitude of Brother Vincent. It will take some time for him to convince him. If Brother Vincent can deter Liam Baker successfully, then Liam Baker won't disturb Chrissy Hart and others. After figuring it out, Lucas decided to discuss this matter after the end of today's event. Then both separated after entering inside. Lucas went to the spectator area, where I walked towards the usual participant area. When I reached my seat, I saw Liam Baker with others. As I had expected today, most of them came to watch the duel. Except for the top 4, everyone is present. Then dispelling the thoughts, I sat in my seat. Slowly, the participant area started to fill in. Finally, I saw the face of Frank Lambert. This guy looked confident and strong. Then retracting my thoughts, I waited for the competition to start. After 10 minutes, Victoria Shields, Danny Quinn and Brent Dale arrived. Like as usual, they minded their own business. But I have a vague feeling that everyone is interested to see the mysterious unique user Eric Marsh. Last night, I saw many trending posts online in his name. And today will be no different. When the time for the event arrived, the announcement was made. 2 wizard students from the B-rank division stood up when their names were announced. Starting from B-rank, the wizard students who were going to participate in the competition were extremely strong. The crowd broke out in cheers when the participants entered the stage. The silver barrier was immediately erected to provide a protective shield. When the duel started, both of them released their magic at the same time. A quick glint flashed in my eyes when I saw their magic. Water elemental magic, I mumbled under my breath. The participants have a similar type of magic. What a coincidence. Both of them released extremely fast bullets at the same time. It was so fast that it was impossible for normal people to see. Boom. A terrible sound resonated throughout the whole area. The water bullet attack has landed at an empty spot. The opponents evaded the incoming attack successfully. All happened in a blink of an eye. The next moment, I saw they continued the same tactic again. What is more amazing to me is that the water element seems different. A curiosity rose in my heart. I feel there is some change in attributes. To verify, I probed both of their statuses using my system. Then I finally saw what the difference was. One of the wizard students has a freezing effect in his water element magic, and the other one has normal water elemental magic. The difference is hard to notice. If not for my system, it would take some time to realize this. Then my lips curved into a small arc. This difference alone can determine the winner, because both of them have similar statistics. So I believe the one with the freezing effect will win if he plays his card wisely. Time passed. After 1 hour, the one with normal water elemental talent passed out. The remaining one was declared the winner. After the end of the first match, the next match begins. Time passed in a blink of an eye. Finally, it was time for a final duel to determine the B-rank title winner. When the announcement was made, I looked at the expressions of some people. Miley Reese, Eric Marsh and Tom Baltimore. Three of them intently looked at the B-rank participant area. Seeing that, a faint flicker flashed in my eyes. Especially looking at the confident expression of Miley Reese. I couldn't help but be stunned. I thought she would be gloomy and depressed. But looking at her calm face, I suspect something else is going on. But I recovered my thoughts the next moment and looked at the fighting stage. Because the final duel is going to take place. After the announcement was made, two female wizard students walked into the fighting stage. When I looked at their status, my eyes gleamed with expectation. Finally, there is some good magic, I muttered to myself. Because one of the female wizards has poison mist magic, which is deadly enough to cause death to normal people. And the other female wizard is a close combat mage. Her weapon magic is an iron dagger. Seeing that, a faint smile rose on my face. It can be deduced who is going to be the final winner. If there is no chance, the poison mist wizard is going to win. But it was my assumption. When the duel started, I saw the iron dagger wizard dash towards her opponent. Reckless, the wizard student near me sneered. Shaking my head, I looked at the poison mist wizard. She didn't get alarmed by the opponent's move. Rather, she quickly releases her first spell. Seeing that, a faint curiosity rose in my heart. I checked her status using my system again. Then I saw her two magic spells. One is the confusion mist and the other is the death mist. When I looked at the stage, I saw the green color mist quickly spread around her. But the mist did not appear to be deadly. If my guess was correct, she used her first spell. Because the second spell was deadly. If there is no careful preparation, the opponent is going to suffer. This is not a life or death duel. Looking at the second spell, a trace of apprehension appeared in my eyes. As expected, be ranked above, there were no mediocre wizards. I sighed inwardly. Poison is something which can cause damage to wizards across ranks. There is no level limitation. Suddenly, a certain someone comes to mind. Leon Willie. That one was terrifying. Then, dispelling the thoughts, I looked at the stage. Looking at the iron digger wizard, a hint of pity appeared in my eyes. But don't know why. I feel things will turn around eventually. The iron dagger wizard didn't retreat after seeing the opponent's spell. Rather, she continues to dash forward to approach her. Everyone was amazed by such reckless behavior. Her attempt was nothing but a desperate move from others' eyes. Little Stargate High School. When everyone thought that the iron dagger wizard was reckless in her moves and would be affected by the mist. But all of a sudden, nothing like that sort of happened. The iron dagger wizard rushed forward freely towards the poison mist wizard. For a second, I thought it was a fluke. But when I further noticed, a quick glint flashed in my eyes. If my assumption is right, the iron dagger wizard controlled her breathing. And the mist magic around her doesn't seem to affect her at all. After realizing that, a quick glint flashed in my eyes. This breathing technique is not a spell at all. What is it? Is it some kind of exercise? Various doubts appeared in my heart. Because her status panel showed nothing about this. Interesting, she might turn the situation around, I grumbled. In the fighting stage, the iron dagger wizard reached her opponent in a short breath of time. Without further ado, she immediately released her weapon spell. An iron dagger quickly materialized out of thin air. Gripping it, she stepped forward to stab. On the other hand, the poison mist wizard was startled by her sudden movements. She thought her first spell would hold her opponent for a while. But surprisingly, the opponent somehow managed to reach. She immediately dropped her plan of not using her second spell. She evaded the frontal attack and retreated backwards quickly to make some distance. When she had done that, she immediately released her second spell from her palms. Death mist, she uttered in a low voice. But the next second, a deep green color mist started to surround her. The deep green color mist almost appeared to be a protection cover. Unless someone is immune to poison, no one else can stay unaffected by the death mist. With the appearance of death mist, the crowd gasped in surprise. Teachers and other management staff knew the duel was over at this moment. The iron dagger wizard will suffer if she tries her reckless move again. Because this time is not the confusion mist but a death mist. At the same time, the iron dagger wizard halted her footsteps. Looking at the deep green color mist, her expression turned solemn. I knew it, her second spell is worse than the first spell, she twitched. She understands that it would be pointless to continue to engage in attack. Finally, she admits defeat in front of a huge crowd. Cheer! A loud cheering reverberated throughout the entire arena. The silver barrier started to come down. Seeing that, the poison mist wizard dispelled her second spell immediately. The poison mist wizard Tina Burns was declared as B-rank title winner. Congratulations to Tina Burns for her win. When the announcement was made, the crowd gave another round of applause. When both of them exited the stage, the crowd was looking forward to the next duel. After hearing the announcement, I looked at the expression of Tom Baltimore. He did not appear to be calm at all. A slight frown appeared on my face. I believe he knows something, because his demeanor has changed compared to yesterday. But when I saw the expression of Eric Marsh, I can see a tinge of arrogance on his face, which also made me think twice about him. Now he is acting a bit out of order, I muttered to myself. If the Eric guy shows a similar attitude towards our A-rank division, he will surely suffer. The last bit of goodwill also swept away from my heart after looking at his arrogant face. As expected, after the announcement was made, both of them got up from their seats and walked towards the fighting stage. I don't know why. I feel the duel will be interesting. After entering the stage, both of them stood opposite each other. The silver barrier started to envelop the stage. When everything was done, the duel started. Eric Marsh didn't even think about dragging long. He immediately released his second spell to defeat the opponent. Blood burning, he yelled. His voice was not low, but it was heard by the audience. Due to his ongoing popularity, the media house paid extra attention to him, especially the mystery of his unique magic talent making rounds online. Everyone wants to know about his magic. When he uttered those words, the media houses were able to record them. Whoosh! The blood-burning spell instantly doubled his strength. He, Eric Marsh let out a laugh after looking at the frightened face of Tom Baltimore. Then the next second he burst out a full spell and charged towards his opponent. All of this happened in a blink of an eye. None of them had a clue about what was happening. Only the level 2 wizards and above noticed some changes in Eric Marsh. His physique was more muscular than before. Like his entire bulging muscle is beaming with some kind of power. On the other hand, Tom Baltimore's mind went blank. What is going on? This was his last thought before a massive fist smashed his face. Thud. Tom Baltimore fainted on the spot. The first attack caused him to lose consciousness directly. Seeing that, Eric Marsh cracked a wide grin. He defeated the opponent in a single move, which was way better than his last duel. Then he immediately dispelled his second spell. With that, his bulging muscles also recovered to normal. But the downside is that he appeared to be worn out. Eric Marsh didn't care about that. Now he has won consecutive duels. He feels much more confident. Winning duels against D-rank and C-rank divisions makes his special class ahead of them. Hereafter, no one will think their class is a trash class. While he was enjoying his win, the atmosphere turned into pin-drop silence. The duel was over even before the crowd started to enjoy it. What is going on? From the audience to the broadcast people, everyone was stunned. Inside the viewing area? Okay, now I'm thinking he might do well against Tina Burns, a Chairman Benjamin said with a smile. Staff can see their chairman is truly happy about the special class. Things turn out to be unexpected. The unique magic user Eric Marsh turned out to be the dark horse of this competition. Headmaster, you have done a good job. He gave a thumbs up to Chester Nixon. Ha, ha ha, Chairman, it's my job to take care of these kids, a Chester replied with a laugh. There were no false words. Chairman Benjamin is truly happy about the development of the special class. Earlier, he thought it would take 2 or 3 years before the unique wizard started challenging other ranked divisions. But this year in competition has given him a lot of surprises. Chairman Benjamin understands that if it was someone else, the result won't be the same. Because Chester Nixon has inspected magic which can help him deduce a lot of things. After figuring it out, Chairman Benjamin decided to raise his salary. Chester Nixon is pondering something else. He is thinking about whether Eric can fight against Tina Burns. Because he thinks even if the poison mist invades Eric's body, it will be stopped by a blood-burning spell. Chester believes that a blood-burning spell will neutralize the poison. If it happens, then there will be no problem for Eric to defeat Tina Burns. After that, special class will become the second strongest division after the A-rank division. This is only temporary, but he feels things will change after some years. Right now, their division is made up of 1 class. In the future, there will be 6 classes like other divisions. When he thinks about a prospect, a quick glint flashes in Chester Nixon's eyes. Then he retracted his thoughts after hearing the announcement. In the fighting stage, congratulations to Eric Marsh for your win. Would you like to challenge the B-rank title winner next? When the announcement was made, everyone's gaze fell on Eric Marsh. Ha ha ha, Eric Marsh let out a small laugh before saying, yes, I'm challenging B-rank title winner Tina Burns. Right now, people can see he is beaming with joy. He is acting like it's not a big deal to defeat Tom Baltimore. The faces of C-rank division wizards were darkened after looking at his cocky behavior. What happened to Pighead Tom? Did he forget to use his spell? One by one, wizards from the C-rank division voiced out their dissatisfaction towards Tom Baltimore. Even the people who had lost to him previously couldn't help but curse at him. It was one thing to defeat the D-rank division, but the C-rank division was defeated by him. Everyone felt their face was burning. Looking at Eric, everyone wanted to tear up his cocky face right now. Don't worry, you guys, that trash will suffer against the B-rank division. When someone from the C-rank division raised his voice, everyone immediately calmed down, because it was known to everyone that the B-rank division is the place for strong wizards. So they don't think Eric Marsh can win against B-rank title winner Tina Burns. After the announcement, Eric Marsh exited the stage. The crowd is beaming with excitement for tomorrow's duel. Eric Marsh has now become a gold treasure for media people. I guess today's event will trend online like the previous day. Harumph, when I was lost in thoughts, I heard a cold snort near me. I heard our new headmaster is also working as a class teacher for the special class. I don't know. What were the management guys up to? Yeah, he is up to no good. Instead of looking after the elite class, he has been focusing on the special class. I heard several cold voices behind me. A quick glint flashed in my eyes when I recognized one of their voices. He is none other than Frank Lambert. When it comes to the new headmaster, I have no animosity against him. My biggest worry was that he would dig up the details about Jake House. But fortunately for me, nothing like that sort of happened. Later, I realized that the appointment of the new headmaster is related to the new magic class for unique users. When I retracted my thoughts, I saw people exiting the arena one by one. Seeing that, I realized today's event was over. And tomorrow will be the event for the A-rank division. Then I got up from the seat and walked out. Before going home, I had thought about visiting the Claudia gym. After having a quick chat with Lucas Brad, I hopped inside the air car for travel. A few minutes later, the air car landed near the train station. To not attract attention, earlier I changed my school robes to a normal one, because I saw the streaming advertisement for our year-end competition. After taking one glance at the huge display, I turned towards the cab driver and paid him the fees. I remember the words of Mr. John. He didn't want me to travel that much before joining the academy, because Mr. John feels things are unpredictable these days. So he doesn't want me to take a risk. But for me, the training inside the mana chamber is a must. I will gain a faster rate of core progression compared to outside surroundings. So I decided to be very quick on this trip. After entering the station, I walked up to my platform. The train will shortly arrive. So I closed my eyes and waited. Special class, Little Star Gate High School. 8 students were gathered inside the special class for a meeting. All of them were unique magic users. Apart from 2 people, everyone was present. Hey, what happened? A clueless student inquired of his desk mate. When he learned that their class teacher had a meeting, his eyes lit up with surprise. Some of them who eavesdropped on their conversation also gasped. Unlike other divisions, their magic class has the privilege that the current headmaster of the school is also their class teacher. Especially after today's duel. Everyone is proud and excited. Hereafter no one will mess with them. When the students were jubilant, 2 new silhouettes entered the class. After the appearance of the 2, the students began to cheer up loudly. They were none other than Eric Marsh, today's star, and beside him is another female wizard. She was a former student of Class A3 and now she is a student of a special class. Glass Physique Wizard Judy Owens. These 2 people were the pillars of a special class. Eric Marsh's eyes gleamed with a twinkle. Looking at the loud cheering and appreciation, he became proud and happy. It's not easy to win against Miley Reese and Tom Baltimore, but he did it. Now that his status has risen, he is enjoying the glory. Suddenly, he peeks a glance at Judy Owens standing beside him. A fiery glint flashed in his eyes. It was not wrong to say. Judy Owens is one of the school beauties. Like many, he also has a new crush on her. But the problem is her mind is focused on magic practice. On top of it, she is also gifted with unique magic like him. So Eric knows it will not be easy to subdue Judy Owens. But he believes that his ongoing reputation will help him a lot. Looking at her beautiful face of Judy, Eric said in his heart, "Sooner or later you will be mine." Then the next moment, he recovered himself and asked, "Miss Judy, what happened?" Judy Owens furrowed her eyebrows. She is not very talkative. But she finds out Eric Marsh is acting bold these days. Especially after gaining 2 wins. She gave a cold snort in her heart. Like others, she also has a goal to become strong. One of the reasons she quit her former class was also because of this reason. After the previous Star Battle platform event, Chairman Benjamin promised to give resources to train But who would have thought that this unknown guy would appear in the middle? Now Eric is taking her limelight. She couldn't help but frown. It is all thanks to their headmaster. He planned to let Eric challenge others. Otherwise, she would have been this helpless. When she was brooding over, another silhouette entered the class. But this time the entire class was silent after his appearance. He is none other than Level 3 Auxiliary Wizard Chester Nixon. Eric Marsh got up from the seat. Earlier, he thought about meeting him. But fortunately, this meeting was arranged in time. Judy Owens didn't show any expression. But her heart was not calm. She didn't know why the headmaster didn't let her participate in the competition. What is he planning? She thought to herself. On the other hand, Chester Nixon smiled. After hearing Chairman Benjamin's praise, he felt a sense of achievement. Then looking at Eric Marsh, he said with a smile on his face, Eric Marsh, you have done a good job today. Chairman Benjamin is very pleased by your performance. Gasp. When he uttered the chairman's name, the students exclaimed in surprise. Judy Owens knitted her eyebrows further. She has no clue about the current circumstances. Eric Marsh's face lit up with joy. He immediately replied, "Thank you, headmaster. Tomorrow I will win against Tina Burns." Hearing that, Chester Nixon uttered, "Good." Then he saw someone raising a hand. When he saw the face of Judy Owens, Chester Nixon immediately understood. He asked, "What is it?" "Miss Judy." Judy Owens stood up and asked, "Headmaster, I want to participate in the competition." When other students heard her words, they were also confused, because both of them had registered their name. But so far there was no matchup for Judy Owens. Eric Marsh frowned. "What's up with her?" Chester Nixon signed and replied, "Actually, it's not what you think. I'm thinking about using you as a trump card." "Trump card," Judy Owens said. Chester nodded his head and answered, "With your current strength, you can easily defeat other division title winners like Eric. But I was holding you back, because I want you to challenge the ranked division." Gasp. The students again gasped in surprise. A cold glint flashed in Eric Marsh's eyes. Judy Owens was quite surprised. Seeing her shocked expression, Chester Nixon added further, "You are a former student of a ranked division, so it will be no problem for you." But Judy Owens showed a troubled expression, because the current event format is different compared to last year. She replied with hesitation, "Headmaster, are you expecting me to challenge a ranked title winner?" A horrible thought rose in her heart. It was already difficult for her to defeat students from Class A2. But when it comes to Elite Class A1, there is no chance, because it was already clear the final title winner from the A-ranked division will be from Class A1. When she thought about Brent Dale and Danny Quinn, her face was immediately discolored. Not only that, but other students also sucked a cold breath. Even jealous Eric Marsh was also frightened the next second. He was scared SHT. He doesn't know whether it's true or not. If it's true, then he is grateful that he is not in her place. Are you kidding? Fighting against a ranked title winner? It's completely a death wish. He doesn't want to be crippled and bedridden. Eric Marsh looked at the face of Headmaster Chester. He hopes that her words were not true. Ha ha ha, Chester Nixon let out a bitter laugh. Looking at the scared expression of Judy Owens, he smiled helplessly. He had never expected she had such a thought in her mind. Brent Dale and Danny Quinn, those two gentlemen were monsters in human form. Why would he let his students challenge them? Then he saw the confused expression of everyone. He said with a small cough, "I think you guys misunderstood something. Miss Judy was from Class A3, so I thought it would be better if she defeats wizards from Class A2. In that way, people can see her improvement." Judy Owens sighed in relief. But again she asked, "But the format?" Chester Nixon answered, "I know what you are worried about. For a ranked division duels, I'm going to ask the chairman to make some changes." The Claudia Gym. Phew, I sighed in relief after entering the mana chamber. I had never expected the front desk staff to recognize me at a single glance. The front desk staff is a new employee, but what I can see is that he is a good observant person. Fortunately, he didn't ask any questions related to the urine competition. Then retracting my thoughts, I activated the chamber. After a couple of seconds, the room started to fill in with highly condensed mana. A hint of expectation rose in my heart, so I booked this room for 3 hours of training. Then, feeling the abundance of mana around me, I began to meditate. When I ran the gravity arc method, I felt much closer to the gray mana energy. Feeling that, I started to absorb the gray mana energies around me. The absorbed energies started to circulate inside the body according to the mediation method, and finally, they settled inside my gravity core. Time passed in a blink of an eye. I opened my eyes 3 hours later. When I clenched my fists, a crackling sound could be heard. This force, or a quick glint flashed in my eyes when I felt such beaming strength. Then I decided to check my status. System, show my status panel, I said to the system. Ding! The host's command is recognized. Ding! Level up system, 1.1 is ready. Status panel. Host's name, Vincent Carey. Magic power, gravity. Mage level, level 2 limiter. 6 months remain to level up. Mental method, gravity arc, running. Grade, earth. Running mode, automatic. Rate of absorption, 80%. Gravity core status, LVL.2, 14%. Progressing. 5.5%/month. Sacred core, gravity core. Mana power, 700. Mana capacity, 700. Talent, top bottom, upgradable. Color, pale orange. Strength, 121. Speed, 116. Stamina, 134. Vitality, 126. Intelligence, LVL.2, 24. Soul power, LVL.2, 22. Constitution LVL.2, 27. Sacred gravity physique, 2%. Mental power, LVL.2, 28. Spells 3. 1. Gravity field 2. Gravity push 3. Gravity pull. Slots filled 3. Title, Lord of the Gregor Mansion. Storage space items, the Gregor Mansion, magic artifact, herbs, potions and spell books, etc. A wide status panel appeared in front of my eyes. A small smile rose on my face when I saw my core improvement. I still feel surreal when I realize that I'm actually a level 2 wizard, not a level 1. If not for the status, I would have continued to think subconsciously as a level 1 wizard. There are also some benefits to acting in this way. I won't slip up my details during conversations with friends. So this will help me to avoid any suspicion. But thanks to the existence of the system, so far I didn't face any troubles from other high-ranking wizards. I don't know whether they probed me or not, but I feel the system has prevented anyone from prying on my details. Again, I started to look into my statistics. I don't know why, but I feel I'm not the only one who reached the level 2 rank in my class. I have a vague feeling in my heart that the top 2 wizards in my class are not simple. Even after reaching level 2, I still have this feeling of some kind of threat. That's why I didn't use the system to probe Brent Dale and Danny Quinn's status recently. I have an instinct they might find out my probing if I do that. So I avoided the curiosity of exploring their details. Anyway, my status is fine. I believe before joining the academy, I will get some time, and I will use that opportunity to reach level 3 as soon as possible. Beep. I retracted my thoughts after hearing the timed-out signal. I stood up from the ground and walked out of the mana chamber. As my gaze fell on the communication watch, I realized it was midnight. A few minutes later, I hopped inside the air car to get back home. Several hours later, I got back home. After entering the room, I immediately fell asleep. The following day, I woke up 5 hours later. Just 2 hours before school time. After completing the morning routines, I took some time to check the internet. I tapped my finger on my communication watch. Soon several pages popped up. All of them are local news sites. When I saw the headlines of the articles, I chuckled. As expected, the trending topic is all about the dark horse Eric Marsh and his class of unique magic users. I have to say, more than my elite class, the popularity of the special class was high. Even I saw some nasty discussion topics. Some online users commented that unique users can defeat the elite class. After going through some of the comments, I don't know whether to laugh or cry. I'm not even sure about facing the top 2 wizards. If not for my power of gravity pressure, I would be hesitant to face them. Today everyone will know the horror of the elite class. Then, retracting my thoughts, I began to go through other articles. Suddenly, I saw one article which immediately drew my attention. What happened to Judy Owens? When I saw the name, my eyes gleamed with a twinkle. Due to the recent popularity of Eric Marsh, I almost forgot about her. She was the reason why the special class was formed in the first place. After opening the article, I saw a lot of discussions below. I see, I grumbled. So far, she hasn't participated in any duels. Then what is she doing besides Eric Marsh? She has formed a ranked division wizard. So her strength is not low compared to Eric Marsh. No. I saw her name in the participants list. Then what is the problem? Suddenly, I realized something. It's not that she is not doing anything, rather her name was not called out during the announcement. Is this some kind of strategy? Thinking about what happened at the previous Star Battle platform, I had black lines on my forehead. I remembered Chairman Benjamin stopped the duel abruptly because of Judy Owens. The more I think about it, the more I get vexed. Anyway, it has nothing to do with me. They can do whatever they want, but I'm going to get first place. Then I started to get ready for school. A few hours later, damn, looking at the traffic in front of my school, I couldn't help but exclaim in surprise. I knew people were looking forward to A-rank division duels. But this sea of people is something else. The Star Battle area doesn't have that many seats to accommodate this much crowd. Who allowed this madness to happen? When I stood in surprise, I heard another commotion. I saw the opposite of a school. Someone had set up a huge display screen to stream the duels. I found the crowd was denser in that area compared to others. Seeing that, I revealed a bitter smile. It's impossible to wait for Fatty in this crowd. I feel it's better to go inside the arena. After entering the school, I started to text Fatty that I will see him after school. While walking, I absorbed the expressions of the people. I can see most of them here are Mage families related to the wizard students in our school. 2 more hours left before the start of the official duel. While pondering, I walked past a silhouette. Suddenly, a quick glint flashed in my eyes. This person, I halted my footsteps and turned around. The person is none other than Judy Owens from the special class. Seeing her, I furrowed my eyebrows. Yesterday, there was a lot of confusion. But seeing her today, I feel my assumption was right. Something is going on behind the scenes. Then turning around, I walked towards the participants area. As usual, I'm the first person to arrive in my class. I glanced around my surroundings, the participants were yet to come. But the arena was almost filled with people. Suddenly, I saw my face on the big screen. Seeing that, I didn't show any expression and politely sat in my seat. Time passed. One by one, the participants started to come in. The D-rank division, C-rank division, B-rank division, and finally students from the A-rank division arrived in time. But I saw there is still half a left before the completion. Then I closed my eyes and waited patiently. Suddenly, I found a cold gaze on me. Feeling that, I knitted my eyebrows. I opened my eyes and saw Liam Baker's disgusting face in front of me. Ah. Vincent, your day has come, Liam Baker said with laughter. I felt some odd vibe from him. Looking at his disgusting face, I didn't reply, rather I started to observe him. Usually this guy won't talk to me face to face. So what happened now? Where is his courage coming from? A lot of doubts appeared in my heart. On the other hand, Liam Baker's expression darkened after getting no reply from Vincent. He gave a cold snort before walking back to his seat. Little Stargate High School. You want me to include Judy Owens in a ranked division duels? Chairman Benjamin raised his eyebrows. There is still half an hour left before the match. But Chester came all of a sudden with new requests. The headmaster Chester Nixon revealed a bitter smile before saying, not only her, I want the inclusion of Eric Marsh also. A quick glint flashed in Chairman Benjamin's eyes. He remained silent for a second. But his brain is working faster. What is he planning? He thought to himself. When it comes to a ranked division, he thinks twice before doing anything. But Chester's request was unreasonable. He can include Eric in the A-rank division duels if he can defeat B-rank title winner Tina Burns. But when it comes to Judy Owens, he felt helpless. On the other hand, Chester was complex in the chairman's face. He saw through the difficulties and replied, Chairman, the girl Judy's strength is not lower than Eric's. Her defense is impeccable. What? Chairman raised his eyebrows in surprise. He immediately connected the dots. If her defense is so strong, then no one under a ranked division can defeat her. Chairman Benjamin finally felt there is some logical reasoning behind it. So I agreed to change the rules. Then he instructed his assistant to inform the announcer. Chester Nixon sighed in relief. Now he hopes that his students can defeat at least a few of the A-rank division wizards. But he never thought about the A1 class. In his mind, he only considered classes A3, A4, A5, and A6. Judy was a former student of class A3, so he held some higher expectations than Eric Marsh. 15 minutes before the match, the 4th rank wizard, Frank Lambert, was confident and excited for today's event. When he arrived here, he continued to observe others, especially the 3rd rank wizard, Victoria Shields. Frank's lips curved into a sly smile when he saw the calm and composed expression of Victoria Shields. He couldn't help but think about his last duels. Last time he lost. But this time he feels his spear art will cause her damage. Just wait for me, he said in his heart. But from beginning to end, he didn't look at the top wizard in the class. Because the first place was already fixed in most of the students' minds. Brent Dale and Danny Quinn. These two were extremely strong and the winner will be decided from these two. Not only them but even some powerhouse and media people also debated about these. Though Eric Marsh gained massive popularity, still it doesn't mean that he can defeat elite wizards from Class A1. While Frank was pondering, he suddenly remembered the face of another annoying person. Vincent Carey, he grumbled. Then he turned towards his right side and he saw Vincent Carey. A good plan came to his mind. In his opinion, Vincent Carey's performance was shocking. But it was somewhat expected from the subtaboo magic user. He believes that Vincent Carey may reach rank 6 in his class. Then he will reach rank 1 by next year. Thinking about his graduation, Frank was gloomy. So far he wasn't able to teach a lesson to Vincent Carey. After this competition, he will graduate and it will become even more impossible to do anything to Vincent Carey. The next second he texted a message to some people. Beep. Liam Baker, who is conversing with his friend, suddenly stopped after hearing the notification sound. He opened it to read it. But the next second, a quick glint flashed in his eyes. Cripple Vincent Carey. If you do that you will gain rank 3 resources. Liam Baker was at a loss for a moment. He knew Frank Lambert didn't like Vincent Carey. But he had never expected their hatred to be so deep. Anyway, he had already planned about thrashing that bee at start. But now someone has decided to support him also. He laughed in his heart. He can't wait to see the miserable end of Vincent Carey. Not only him, one by one wizard from the A1 class seated in the participant area received the message. Frank Lambert sent a message to everyone except the top 3. After doing that, Frank once again saw Vincent before revealing a sly smile on his face. It's time to watch a good show, he muttered to himself. At the same time, Eric Marsh entered the battle arena. Seeing his appearance, all the media houses started to show his face on the big screen. But some people in the participants section showed disdain. Because he entered just before the start of the duel. Like he had purposely waited to appear lately. Harumph, his short fame will end from today onwards. Students from the C-rank division showed disdain. Even wizard students from the B-rank division were displeased after seeing his late appearance. On the other hand, Eric Marsh enjoyed the limelight. He slowly walks towards the participants area. He didn't mind the different gaze of wizard students. He knew people were not convinced by his style, but he didn't care. After arriving at the participants area, he quickly found Judy Owens and walked toward her. Judy Owens knitted her eyebrows, but she didn't say anything. She also felt Eric Marsh started to become showy, which is not good for their special class. Good morning, Eric Marsh said to Judy before he sat beside her leisurely. Judy hummed in response. Tom Baltimore and Miley Reese on the other side had veins popped on their forehead. If Eric was humble, then their defeat won't cause much dissatisfaction. But after his showy appearance, people started to think he doesn't put anyone in his eyes. Even some people started to share the names of other special class students. They can't fight Eric Marsh, but that doesn't mean they can't defeat his classmates. Time passed. When the time for the duel came, a sudden announcement was made. First duel. Eric Marsh versus Time Burns. Contenders, please come to the stage. Gasp. The crowd broke out in loud cheer. What was happening? The title duel is the first match. Then everyone realized we were talking about a rank division here. So the combat prowess of the two of them is naturally lower than a rank wizard. So people don't mind the change in rules. But Eric Marsh was startled. What was the first duel of mine? He stood up from the seat in surprise. Ah. People behind him burst into laughter. Moron, what are you daydreaming about? Eric Marsh's face darkened. But he quickly recovered himself and walked towards the dueling stage. To be honest, he didn't expect his duel would be the first. While walking, he realized how naive he was. Though he gained popularity, still unmatched the elite class. Then he gave a cold snort in his heart. What elite class? If he maintained his progression, he would soon win against them. With confidence, he entered the dueling stage. On the other hand, Tina Burns also arrived. She looked at Eric Marsh before entering the stage. She stood on the opposite side. Then the silver barrier slowly enveloped the stage. Seeing her appearance, a quick glint flashed in Eric Marsh's eyes. He already saw the battle video of Tina Burner. He knew her cards. But he still has some worries regarding the Mist Magic. He doesn't know? How will the body react after coming in contact with Mist Magic? But he has confidence in his second spell. All he needs to do is to reach the opponent. Eric Marsh already thought of a suitable plan. Tina Burns' expression was solemn. Before coming here she had a good conversation with her class teacher. As long as she avoids confrontation, she can easily win this duel. When the duel was started, Eric Marsh yelled, "Blood burning." The next second, Eric Marsh's strength instantly doubles. He burst out at great speed and dashed towards Time Burns. All of this happened in a blink of an eye. Seeing his speed, Tina Burns's expression turned solemn. She understands opponent's motives, but she will never allow him to get closer. "Death mist," she said. The deep green color mist immediately enveloped her like a domain. Anyone who gets closer to her will be affected by the poisoning. The prolonged effect may lead to death. Tina has good control of her strength. As long as the opponent admits defeat, she will dispel the magic. Eric Marsh felt alarmed for a moment, but under the influence of the second spell, he quickly recovered. The duel will be over when he manages to land a single hit. When he entered the dark green color mist, the two different kinds of magic came in contact with each other. The death mist immediately acted after finding its prey. The deep green color particles started to do their work. For a moment, Eric Marsh felt his senses were dulled. If this goes on, he will slow his moment. On the other hand, Tina retreated backward to make some distance. She knows it will be a matter of time before the spell works. On the other hand, the crowds let out a roaring cheer, because both opponents begin the match by releasing their second spell. The atmosphere is very tense inside the arena. Though people are enjoying the duel, there is still a little bit of tension in the crowd. Especially fans of Eric Marsh are worried about the duel. I couldn't help but chuckle after seeing the online comments. Then I turned off my communication watch and looked at the match. Unlike Miley Reese, Tina Burns is quite clever. She saw through the opponent's details and carefully retreated backwards to avoid confrontation. Seeing that, my lips curved into a gentle arc. But I'm more interested to see Eric Marsh. I don't know. How long can his second spell withstand? I believe there is some time limit for his second spell. If it was over, then it would be a matter of seconds before the death mist attacked him. Suddenly, I felt someone peeping at me. "Ron Brito," I grumbled. "Why is he staring at me?" A quick glint flashed in my eyes. The 5th rank, Metal Elemental Wizard Ron Brito. After the death of former 5th rank wizard Jake House, his rank improved. Now he is enjoying his status. But I had no clash against him. Then what happened now? I feel something is wrong. Then retracting my thought, I observed the duel. In the dueling stage, Eric Marsh wasn't able to touch Time Burns because the death mist is slowing him down. If not for the resistance provided by the second spell, he would have been poisoned right now. Thinking about the consequences, he was terrified. "No, I have to end this duel quickly," he roared in his heart. This time, instead of chasing her back, he decided to predict her moves. The deep green color mist covered her completely. It will be hard for anyone to know her exact position. Eric Marsh charged at her, but his mind is constantly predicting her movements. His instinct tells him that she will choose her right direction. He firmly grasped this feeling. Just before he comes in contact with the death mist, he dashed towards his left side. On the other hand, Tina Burns was careless. After repeated moves, she thought this time will be the same. So she let down her guard unknowingly. When she saw Eric Marsh charging towards her, she immediately chooses her right side to make some distance. As she moved to the right side, her face becomes discolored the next second. She saw Eric Marsh is a step closer than before. But it was too late to do anything. Boom! She saw a red color fist before her eyes. The next second, her body flew like a broken kite and crashed into the barrier. This all happened in a blink of an eye. Eric Marsh revealed a bright smile. But when he cancelled his second spell, the aftermath of death mist immediately acted. A green dot appeared on his body. Before he could realize what was going on, he lost consciousness. Thud! His body dropped to the ground, which immediately alerted health authorities. When the barrier was lifted off, both of them were taken back to the clinic for treatment. Gasp! On the other hand, the crowd was cheering out loud. Eric Marsh has now become the title winner of the B-ranked division. He kept his name as Dark Horse successfully in the competition. But upcoming duels will be more exciting, because the next duel will be an A-ranked division duel. Inside the new room, Chairman Benjamin's mouth bent into an arc. He moved his obese body in excitement. He had never expected the kid Eric to be this saddened. He behaved recklessly despite the danger. He reveals an amusing smile before turning towards Headmaster Chester Nixon. "Chester, did you force this kid to win?" His words rang like thunder inside the room. His face was full of smiles. But the staff inside the room knew he was pissed off. Chester Nixon's heart skipped a beat. Even he was surprised by Eric Marsh's determination. He hurriedly replied, "Chairman, this kid desperately wants to prove himself. That's why I guess he charged recklessly into the mist." Hearing that, Chairman Benjamin calmed down his heart. He understands, but if something happens to that kid, then it will backfire on them. "Okay, you can go and see how he is doing," he said with a sigh. Chester let go of his hanging heart. Then he immediately left the room. Right now he feels mixed emotions. He is glad that Eric won, but it's difficult to say whether he can participate in further duels. Shaking his head, he walked towards the duel. In the dueling stage, the A-rank division duels start now. When the announcement was made, the crowd let out a roaring cheer. Let's welcome the challengers Judy Owens from Special Class and Matt Ryan from Class A6. This time the cheer was even louder, because by this time everyone knew about Judy Owens. Thanks to media houses, they had not only covered new rising star Eric Marsh but also the person beside her. Everyone speculated that both had similar strengths. But unfortunately, her name was not announced in previous duels. This time people have an opportunity to witness her true strength. Judy Owens got up from her seat and walked towards the dueling stage. Unfortunately, Eric is injured badly. He won't have a chance to witness the duel live, but he can watch it later. One part of the crowd cheered, but the students in the participants area booed her, especially the wizard students from C and D rank divisions. On the other hand, B rank division people were confused. They can understand that Eric Marsh is strong, now that he defeated Tina Burns. None of them has any qualms about it. But what's up with Judy Owens? The students showed mixed reactions to this. Yet one division remained silent, which is a rank division, because they were aware that she was a former Class A3 student, so her strength should not be underestimated. When both participants entered the dueling stage, the silver barrier began to envelop the stage. Judy Owens, Level 1 Glass Physique Wizard versus Matt Ryan, Level 1 Power Type Wizard. When the duel started, both acted immediately. Judy Owens was confident in her defense. She knows the opponent is a Power Type Wizard. She had never expected her first duel would be against a Power Type Wizard, which is a challenging one. Before using the spell, she wants to gauge the opponent's strength. She saw Matt Ryan was expecting her to make the first move. After realizing that, she didn't hesitate anymore. She straightforwardly dashed towards the opponent. On the other hand, Matt Ryan smirked. He thought the opponent would use some kind of spell, but to directly charge him, he doesn't know whether to call her fool or not. Well, she is not using her spell. Then I'll do the same, after saying that he casually raised his fist to punch her. On the other hand, Judy Owens saw the opponent's move. She is expecting something like this. So instead of getting flustered, she decided to face them head-on. When she was a few steps away from the opponent, she raised her gentle jade-like hands to meet the opponent's punch. She clenched her small fist to take on the opponent's attack. Outside the dueling stage, the crowd was stunned. They don't know why they didn't use their spell, but people with discerning eyes can see this is going to warm up. Inside the dueling stage, when Judy Owens' little fist comes into contact with the opponent's punch directly, boom! A terrible sound reverberated through the area. Matt Ryan's pupils constrict. He felt a huge vibration in his right hand. What? He immediately saw his right hand and retreated backwards a little. At the same time, Judy Owens stood like a statue. She did not even break a sweat. Her punch was like a casual one. Seeing that, her opponent retreated backwards and a wide smile blossomed on her face. The contrast between the two was visible to the public. If Eric was here, he would have widened his mouth. It's not easy to withstand the strength of a power-type wizard, but she dealt with it casually. Matt Ryan's face was darkened. He felt ashamed. He knew her opponent is not a power-type wizard, but she can withstand his strength. This time his expression turned serious. No way. He can't let this continue. She decided to use his spell directly. Tiger Punch, he said. His strength was instantly doubled in his right hand. Unlike Eric, his spell doesn't have any negative effects apart from the terrible consumption of mana. A quick glint flashed in Judy Owens' eyes. She is confident that she can take this punch. She raised her fist boldly to meet the punch. Gasp! The crowd exclaimed in surprise. They couldn't understand the movie of Judy Owens, but they continued to observe the duel without blinking an eye. Matt Ryan punched fiercely when his fist came in contact again. Boom! Another terrible sound reverberated through the arena. This time Judy Owens moves a few steps backwards due to the impact. But this was enough to make the crowd mad.